Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 155 of the SpawnCast. Actually, I think everyone's everyone here? Everyone's here, I think. Everyone's here, yeah. and we have a special guest tonight. We have Brian Altano. You may know him from IGN and several other shows all over the internet.
Cheers. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Brian. Really appreciate it.
I think I clapped for myself. I'm sorry. That's like that.
That's all right.
I was clapping for you.
Excitement.
Shut up.
I'm clapping for all of you. No, it's a fucking honor, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I know it's been a lot of people have been kind of bored this past week, cooped up. So it's good to talk about some video games to some other people. So let's do that tonight. Sean, you're busy at a keynote, I see. I'm sure you're taking a lot of information in right now.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of good stuff here. Getting a lot of great information about the PlayStation.
Did you take a picture of your ear yet? Did you send that?
No,
Okay,
I haven't yet.
Hey, Sean, if you're having trouble sleeping, just turn around.
Yeah. I legit dozed off during the presentation.
Was anyone else impressed? Everyone was really impressed by the stuff that he was saying for the PS5. I was impressed to see a Sony Vaio on stage.
Yeah.
I think
that was funny too.
I was like, wait a minute.
That's the last one.
That's still a brand. I looked it up and it is. I can't believe it.
I think it's like how Microsoft employees had to legally use Zunes. Like they're just
oh my god,
they're like, this is it. This is your only option.
Are we gonna hate on the Zune? I had a Zune.
We're 2 minutes in. I'll hate on the Zune 2 minutes in. I don't care.
Let's hold it down and beat it up.
One of my old friends had the Halo edition Zune. You remember that? Where they put out like a Halo, the Halo themed one. Yeah, I thought that was so cool. It was terrible.
That was desperation.
I wonder what that goes for on eBay now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might have to look that up.
They go for a bit, and those Zune 2s are even more expensive because they didn't make many of those.
Ah, okay.
Someone stole my Zune out of my car. I was so disappointed.
Did they break back in and return it the next day?
Yeah. I wish they did. I had a lot of good music on there. I was at a party. We got drunk for 3 days. I came back to my car. The only thing taken was my Zune.
3 days.
Yeah, that was
I thought I partied hard.
days.
Jesus.
It was
Lightweight.
Oh, man. We got
back in the early 2000s.
We got MVG here. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Hey, Brian, I get a lot of YouTube comments that I look like you. So can you take your head off for just a sec so we can settle this once and for all?
Oh no! Wow! Oh my!
Can you do an Aussie accent?
Yeah, do the Aussie accent and we're all good.
Oh no!
It's great because the general color balance on the camera is practically exactly the same.
This is spooky. Okay, I see it now.
I mean, I don't think they don't look alike. It's just
this is like screenshot boys.
I love it.
I wanted to get your take on the PS5 when we get to that, MVG, since you've done some porting and development and stuff in the past.
I got a lot to say about the PS5. Don't worry.
Good. Very good. We got OJ here, Player Essence. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? It's been pretty good week, man. It's been pretty good. Even though the PS5, that all happened, I'm still excited to see the future. We got that compatibility. They cleared that up, so I guess we'll get into that when we talk about the PS5. So sure, excited about that.
Yep.
And Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal. There's been a ton of things, man.
Miss Click, how's it going tonight?
Hey, yeah, I'm a little groggy. I just woke up from a nap.
I heard you played Animal Crossing for 14 hours straight.
14 hours.
On stream, at least.
On stream. Oh man.
I put 10 hours in on stream, and I was like, oh man, I did a lot. Then Click's like, I put 14. I was like, damn.
Well, okay. In my defense, we were gonna end maybe 9 hours in, and then we got raided by a couple of friends of mine, and it was some pretty hefty raids. So we kept going, and then going, and then going. But it was great. It's a great game.
That's what happens. You keep
worth
going.
it.
Really I'm gonna play for 2 hours, then you end up playing for 6 hours. That was me. I was gonna play for
2 hours.
Play
That's
6.
freaking it's freaking pleb hours.
Yeah.
I just went to my friend Max Scoville's town. He's my co-host at IGN, and I was flying in over his island, and he had written 69 in potholes.
Nice.
And I was like, how do I tell this bird to turn the plane around and just fucking leave?
Yeah, right.
It'll still be 69 on the way out too. I hate to break it to you.
That's a good fucking joke.
Yes.
Good word.
Jordan, what's going on, man?
Not much, Animal Crossing.
A lot of Animal Crossing over there, right?
A lot of Animal Crossing.
Animal
Lots of streams. Lots of fishing and catching bugs at night.
Yo, did you get that mixer bag yet?
Heard you're streaming big time on Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to Miss took that raids, the raid amounts, and threw them at me because I started back up when she was ending, and then I just had a large stream for a few hours. I'm like, these people have been up all night watching this other stream and just gonna go on to another one. Then I raided someone else, and they stayed there for another 6 hours.
People just like people like
Go to
Animal
sleep,
Crossing, man. People like just watching Animal Crossing. I bet you that's something you just put on in the background over here.
Well, yeah, it's a good game that you can both play at the same time, and then like you can stop and type to the streamer or like talk to chat and not have to worry about like getting killed and then teammates yelling at you or something.
Yeah.
It's also there's like a lot more to do in the game now. It's very different than like the GameCube one. If you play that game at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're like knocking on people's doors and shit like that.
Yeah, well, you had let's be honest, you had to time travel in the GameCube one. Like there was no other option. Yeah.
Max, what's going on? Dreamcast guy.
So much Animal Crossing. So I beat Doom this week, and wow, much harder than I thought. I honestly think it may be 10 times harder than Doom 2016. Had a blast with it. Oh my god, that I love it. And now I'm super addicted to Animal Crossing. I have some friends that are sleeping on my couch during this quarantine, so we've been playing it co-op, actually couch co-op. So when we get there, I actually want to talk a lot about Animal Crossing co-op.
Cool, that'll work. Yeah. And then Evan, you said you had. Did you get Animal Crossing or Doom?
At 5 a.m, I was tired enough that I purchased it. So I've been.
You
playing
did purchase Animal Crossing. You just had to get worn down.
Yeah.
You got it.
I talked myself into it at 5 a.m. because I had no sense anymore. I was just like, fuck it.
So you picked Animal Crossing over Doom because you were telling me you were gonna pick between the two.
Yeah, well, I figure. Because we were talking about the time that it takes for Doom. I do not plan on like 100%.
Doom's like 10 or 12 hours, you said.
Yeah,
Max,
I'm gonna play the one.
It took me 15 hours.
Yeah,
most people are beating it faster than that. I died a lot.
I'm probably just gonna do one nightmare run through it and then that's it. But I do not think $60 is worth that for my life.
Wait for it to drop in. Yeah, because Doom 2016 got on sale quite a bit. So Animal Crossing will last. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. How you doing, Evan?
How's it going? All right, pretty beat.
Yeah.
Finished downloading at 5 and I did not go to bed by then.
Oh gosh. Okay, so before we talk about Animal Crossing or Doom, did anybody play anything else? I know Sean, you played RBI baseball.
Yes, I played several games besides Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing because I did not play Doom Eternal and I did not play Animal Crossing. So I probably will be quiet for a lot of things. Yes, we played RBI baseball 20. I don't know why I review it every year, but for some fucking reason I do. Honestly, they did improve some things. Go watch my video because I'm not gonna talk about it.
Let me ask you. I'm gonna ask you this straight up, Sean. When the show comes to the Switch, are you just moving to that?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is $30. It's the only realistic baseball game in town. So I figure, what the hell? We'll check it out like I do every year. I played Doom 64. Assholes. That's a good game.
Yeah. Yes,
it's a lot of fun.
You like it? It looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks and plays great. It's Doom 64. It feels a little bit easier than it did the first time around. I don't know if it's just because I'm an adult or something now, and I was a kid when I was playing it then.
The controls are
stronger hands.
The controls are better. Yeah, and you can actually see, what the hell you're doing. And I actually, for some strange reason, started playing Resident Evil 7 again, and I don't really know why, but
good choice. Anybody play the Resident Evil 3 demo?
Hold on. Yeah. We got some demos too. Yeah. Sean played the demo. You liked the Resident Evil 3 demo? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We get. You want
to? Trials of Mana. Demo.
I played that too.
I liked the demo for that so far. It's gonna carry over as well. And the skill tree is there. I played it for 2 hours, I think, and the demo because I wanted to grind up to level 7. I think is the max.
That's the max. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the one skill tree they show? Is that like it? Like for each character?
No, you have different paths that you can take. So you can take like a light path and a dark path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because I was looking, I was like, that doesn't seem like it's. I think Trials of Mana to play through it once is like 20 to 25 hours. I think is what the original one was.
Yeah, they put out some new update. Like they're gonna be adding some extra classes, and they're also adding some extra content to the game. So there's gonna be some other stuff.
Because I remember with the original, it was like you play through it a couple times, different characters.
Yeah, because there's 6 characters.
Yeah, so you pick them. But I mean, I like the combat. I thought was pretty good. It ran flawlessly on PC. It runs pretty well on Switch as well. No problems there. So I think it's just an overall good port.
Yeah, I actually I maxed out on both PS4 Pro, and Switch. So I just played all 3 of them. The PS4 Pro and PS4 versions are pretty much identical. There's not much of a difference. There's still, but all around the games have texture kind of popping sometimes. Everything. So it kind of seems like the game was maybe built for Switch, then just put on PS4. I don't know that for sure, but it looks so similar across the board. Like across the board, it looks similar. Switch version's at 30 frames per second, but there's not really any difference within like the input. Like the input's just. It just seems like, yes, it's running faster on PS4, but it's not like there's any like problem with the combat on Switch. So if you're gonna play it on there, you can play it on there, no problem. But I recommend any of the versions for it. So PC, I didn't play the PC though, but I played PS4 Pro, PS4, and Switch, and they're all really good. And it's a really cool RPG to have portable. Like playing on the Switch Lite is dope. It's just cool to play that type of game on the Switch Lite. So that's another thing if people are looking to have like a really cool portable RPG to play. But if you want it on PS4, it runs great. It looks great, and it's such a cool remake of a game that we originally never got. You know, so that it's awesome, and I love when Square Enix does stuff like this. This is really cool.
They've been on the ball with those demos recently. Progress carries over. They dropped a 10-hour demo of Dragon Quest on us at one point.
That was fantastic.
So many people have told me, you know, in the videos that I've been making for this, because I've been covering it for a while now. I'm like, hey, I saw your video. I'm gonna buy the game now. Like people after this demo, it's convinced so many people to buy the game. And it's $50. It's not $60, so it is a little bit cheaper than usual.
Okay. Very good. What about Brian? What you been playing? I know you did a lot of Animal Crossing. I see this constantly on Twitter. You're playing around with Animal Crossing stuff all over the place.
Yeah, so I've had the game for 10 or 12 days now, and so that just put me like on a different, just in a whole different world, because this is like everyone's been talking about how we all need this game right now. There's a lot to that, but I've been switching between that, a little bit of Doom, and I did just download Doom 64, which I haven't jumped into yet, but I'm excited for.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been all Animal Crossing. It's been weird, man. Like you mentioned, Switch Lite. I love my Switch Lite, but the second I played Animal Crossing, and I realized how important the rumble is when you go fishing.
Yeah,
I was like, I have to play on the regular Switch.
Yeah.
And it's like it's weird because it makes you feel like you have to be married to whatever system you start on.
Yeah.
I know there's like. You can move saves around a little bit, or like there's still kind of like
they're gonna figure that out.
You can't, right?
You can't right now. It's gonna come in an update, so that's why I was like, oh snap! Like I can't put it on my Switch Lite, or I can't put it on my Switch in my living room. I gotta put it on this Switch right here. You know, like this one that I'm gonna use for streaming. So yeah, you're kind of like stuck until they get that situated. So yeah, I didn't put on my Switch Lite at all. I was like, oh no, we can't do that.
Same.
Yeah, it's
on Switch Big.
Me too. It's terrifying, and I switched. Yeah, because it's like now I don't want to bring that thing anywhere because it's like I have like 50 hours. In
case something happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Because it's like an Animal Crossing save. If you lose that's devastating. That's that's not like getting a platinum trophy in a game. That's like that is a deeply personal experience, and if that goes away, you're like I gotta. That
was one of the few times back in the day on the GameCube where I actually took advantage of like a Sharpie and the sticker on the GameCube where I would actually write that it's the Animal Crossing for me and my brothers, because that Animal Crossing came with like that 59 block memory card for me. I remember it was in there.
Yeah, it came with it. Yeah,
and I was like, I'm just writing it down. This is mine. But I think if you use the same memory card, we would be on the same island anyway. So. It was fine, but that's losing that is devastating. Yes, absolutely for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, this game has been good for me because I was like I spent most of this year playing Bloodborne and just platinuming it, and that was just like.
Oh, we're gonna be talking about Bloodborne at the PS5 stuff too. Oh yes.
Fuck yeah. So this was like Animal Crossing was like Whiplash. I just like jumped away from like instead of like being like doing Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne and then just like. Shooting down a balloon with a slingshot.
What about Nate? What do you got for us? Give us that weird game you've been playing. I know you've been playing something weird.
There really wasn't any weird eShop game this week. I played Ori, Will of the Wisp, and the performance on an Xbox One VCR is dreadful.
Okay,
I would throw that in the trash. Like it's everywhere.
The game is great, and there's just. encounters where the game it completely locks up, and I'm just sitting there frozen for like 5 seconds, and I'm waiting.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It does that on the X. It does that on the X too, though.
Yeah, they really need to figure out how to optimize the performance of that game, because otherwise, like what I've been playing is amazing. It's just so janky.
It's going to carry over to that Series X though, so maybe I guess wait till the end of the year to.
Yeah, hopefully they can fix it on that. Played Doom 64 a bunch.
Did you get your comparison out?
Yes, I do have the comparison. I compared it. I did undocked Switch, N64, and docked Switch. So
what's different about your N64 footage though?
It was captured with HDMI, so it's better quality than
that Ultra
some
HDMI,
of those other ones.
One of those rare Ultra HDMI systems.
Have been playing some Saints Row 4 on the Switch.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that's coming soon.
Yeah, it comes out next week. I will have undocked footage.
Sean's like, "Where'd you get that?"
Early.
I'm trying to figure out where you got that from.
Nate's not telling. He's like, nope.
I'll have a comparison up of that next week as well with some undocked footage. Played some Exit the Gungeon. I never played Enter, so I'm just getting out. I don't really have any context of what the game was. I mean, I'm shooting a lot of stuff. It's cool. It's hard as hell. So I guess that's my weird eShop game. I don't have anything like in Bento this week where I was making bento boxes with a cat.
You're waiting for Animal Crossing to show up because that got delayed for you, right?
Yes, I was. That should be in hopefully Monday, and that has, of course, delayed my ASMR Animal Crossing videos.
I'm so upset.
So am I. I was looking forward to inviting everyone to my ASMR world.
I mean, at least we got held over for the PS5 stuff. So.
You're really gonna do that, Nate? ASMR Animal Crossing.
Yeah, though somebody claimed they fell asleep listening to MVG and I talk about the PlayStation 5 and Series X, and we don't need to do an ASMR channel anymore. So maybe Nate the Hate is just going to turn to an ASMR video game channel in general.
Nate the snooze button.
Man, that's funny. I mean, isn't that the idea? Is to relax you with ASMR?
Yeah,
you already know what you're going into. Then, if you put him to sleep, he's speed though.
Yeah, but that's with Animal Crossing footage in the background, so I can invite you to my fishing hole. And
also,
we can make
I want you to think about this for a second, Nate. If they fall asleep at the beginning of a 50-minute video, you just won on watch time.
Yeah, that's true. I have to put them to bed quick now. I wish I knew this was like a career path years ago, because I dated a girl who she would like ask me to read to her so it would help her fall asleep. I never knew it could be like a career path.
There you go. You're in.
Pretty demanding. Read to her so she can follow.
Just be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
I mean, I'm just saying, Nate. You could also do it live, and people.
Reading to go up here, Nate.
I could do it live.
You're gonna need a way better mic to do it live properly.
Maybe I'll do it live.
What are you doing, bro?
Please, Nate, no, stop.
I'm sorry, Max.
I read to my daughter to go to sleep. Like, girl, like my girlfriend.
Man,
Don't fall asleep, everybody.
Got Hal 9000 over here. Jesus Christ.
Why'd you guys break up? Were you too loud?
Stop reading to her.
That is a long story. That is a long story.
No, wait, Nate, it probably is.
Yeah. What about MVG?
Doom Eternal, which is the game that I've been really playing a lot of. I'm probably about 8 hours into it. Man, I love it. It's awesome. It's everything that I wanted it to be. I think it's going to be one of the best games this year. And it's fantastic. I've been playing a little bit of Doom 64 as well. Just haven't really gotten into that. Just seeing the differences between the Nintendo 64 version and the new version. But Night Dive did a awesome port of that game. It's fantastic. And I also played the Resident Evil 3 demo, which is excellent. And
you like it? Okay.
Yeah, I love it a lot, man. It's just it's like over in like 10 minutes. That's the only thing that bummed me out. But it's awesome, and I can't wait for the game.
Okay. Very good. Very good. What about Miss Click? Did we already ask you? No.
Oh, I was gonna say, other than that, I was playing this week. I think Warzone's probably my favorite battle royale right now.
Oh, interesting. You played Call of Duty Warzone. Oh.
Yeah, and I've tried playing actual like the Call of Duty on his PC over in the other room, because I was just interested. Like, I've never really played one. I might as well try. And I just didn't. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But then the battle royale came out, And I tried it on his again, and I was like, yo, this is actually really smooth. It's just, I love the fact that it's like, I mean, I still miss the quads, like, of the Battle Royale, like you do with a team of 4. But the 150 people is like intense, man. The Battle Royale lasts so much longer. The circle's tiny, and you're like, dude, there's still like 30 people alive. It's crazy. It's hectic, but I love the fact that they've, you know, like every Battle Royale gets a little bit better because they pull from games in the past. You know, like Apex broke through with like the pinging and like just like the really cool like elements that get added on. And I love that. So I think that this is like the culmination of all that stuff together. And it's really, really fun. And then I was obviously trying Echo for Overwatch's new hero, and it's just so much fun. Like, it just, like, every hero brings like a different light to the game, and I'm very excited to see how she gets incorporated in with the league and everything. So.
I think Call of Duty going free to play with that is like the best thing they could have. They should have done that already.
Yes.
Dude, yeah, right.
They did.
Yes.
So
It's also just so high quality. Like it's just it's so polished.
Blackout was a joke though. We both of us bought it, and there were just like the NAT errors, so we couldn't even like team up most of the time. And the game was just really it wasn't.
I think with Black Ops,
janky.
I think with Black Ops 4, Blackout felt like it was tacked on, whereas this feels like it was built for itself.
It wasn't. Well, let's say it wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth the price that you had to pay to get in to play Blackout. So I think Warzone being free is the best thing they could have done. I just think, you know, like the battle passes are okay, but I do like the fact that you can like work on your loadouts and work on your guns and stuff. Like it's a really fun element to it. So I'm happy that they do that. And the guns just like fall onto the ground. You don't have to worry about looting and getting the attachments and the sights and the you know, it's just cool. You just pick it up and go.
All right, Jordan, what'd you play other than Animal Crossing? Anything?
I played the Resident Evil demo.
Did you play Session?
Oh no, I didn't play Session.
Did you play Skater XL?
Nope. But I played Resident Evil 3 demo, and I've been playing Animal Crossing. That mainly. I like the demo a lot.
This week?
Never Sonic. But yeah, it's good, and I think Nemesis is really cool. I think the creep factor in his character, where he can just show up, works and it's effective. I think the gunplay is pretty good. I like the enemy, like the way that the zombies move. Like there's like you can just be perfectly aiming, but it's swaying its head, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to it. The more you look through it, I went through the game, the demo about twice. So I enjoyed it a lot.
That Resident Evil engine looks freaking incredible, doesn't it? Like the first time you just like you sit down and watch the game, it's like, holy shit, this game is like on another level than everything else. The graphics are amazing on that thing.
They're getting a lot out of that engine too now, because they're using it with like Devil May Cry as well, and like they're it's gonna be crazy with that engine going into next generation with the Series X and the PS5.
The idea of getting like a Code Veronica or a Resident Evil 4 eventually on PS5 in that engine is just like, and like Resident Evil 4, that's a perfect game. I don't really think it needs. I mean, none of these games really need it, but I will happily take it because it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Oh, Resident Evil 4 would sell like crazy too.
Dude, my
god, yeah.
I'm the biggest
perfect.
I'm the biggest Code Veronica defender on the planet. Like, bring that back.
Hell yeah, Steve Burnside, let's go.
Yeah, well, maybe don't give him the whiny voice of "Dang, Claire, what are you doing?" Maybe not that part, but
no, they've definitely done a good job of updating voices for all these games, at least, you know. Like that is like Resident Evil was the go-to. Like that was the go-to for like decades of like video game voice acting is bad.
Yeah,
and then like now it's so much better.
No,
me too. I mean, it's
I kind of like the garbage voice acting.
Me too. I mean, it's like it's campy, and like I think a lot of people think that that's like a bad thing. I kind of love shit like that. Like I'm totally okay with that. I can go back and play the Resident Evil games, and they're just like, you're almost a Jill sandwich. I'm like, this is great.
Or I like kneeling down in a huge pool of blood, and you talk to him, and he goes, "I'll be investigating this," and it's just like,
I don't think it'd work in today's day though. With how good the graphics look, like it'd be like,
that would sound a little weird.
Yeah, it would be so weird. People probably wouldn't buy it based off that alone.
Well, they'll walk up to a dude that's bleeding out of like 60 holes, and they're just like, "Is he okay?"
Have you ever played my favorite picture or any moment is from Dino Crisis, there's a time where you find a guy who's just been ripped in half, and his upper half is in one spot, and his bottom half has been thrown off a cliff. And you walk up and you touch him, and it goes, "He's dead." It's like it'd be scarier if he wasn't.
What about Max? What do you got?
Dude, so the biggest thing, man, that Resident Evil 3. So I beat the demo 3 times. I still haven't found all the collectibles, and apparently I don't think I've found all the weapons, but oh my God, that demo is freaking great. I still, the one gripe I have, I don't like Nemesis's outfit. I liked the old Nemesis because he had these creepy, almost medical style clothes. I like the idea that like at one point he was docile enough for them to tailor an outfit for him. It made him creepier to me. And now he's just wearing like melted trash bags duct taped to him. And I'm sure I'll get to fear him when I see him more in motion instead of just that one encounter.
When they start adding bigger guns to him as he's chasing you
once we see his rocket launcher, that's gonna be great.
That flamethrower that he was using in one of them.
Yeah. And when we see his other forms, when he starts ripping off the trash bags and we see all the tentacles and stuff, it's gonna be so good.
Okay, so Animal Crossing. Okay. Let's hear some thoughts on Animal Crossing.
Who played it co-op? Who's tried it couch co-op at all?
I have not.
Okay, so Brian, I wanted to talk to you because now that I've played it couch co-op, I feel like I understand the one island per console completely. The way that they build a house on the island and then you can just go to their house whenever you want, and when they start playing, they just log into the island. I actually get it now. So I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, no, I totally get that too. I think that like the online co-op still has a lot of like sort of like finicky Nintendo stuff. There's stuff that sort of makes sense, but then there's other things where they're kind of like I made one of my album covers as a QR code, and I went to put it on my wall when my friend was visiting before, and they're like, "You can't decorate when your friends are over because that's rude." I'm like, is it rude, or did you just not want to make that a thing?
It's rude.
Like, is it rude?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
How dare you?
I mean, I guess I don't know. If I went to my friend's house in real life and he's like pushing his couch around, I guess that'd be kind of fucking rude.
Well, no, because they'd ask you to help them.
That's true.
Like, get that other side. Let's go.
It's funny that on couch co-op how you can do your custom designs and graffiti and put all the decals on the ground and stuff, and whenever you want, the other player can just destroy it. So my friend was like on one part of the island drawing puppy dog faces and puppy dog paw prints. I could just walk up and press use and just kick dirt on it. It's like, man, I'm the real asshole of this island.
That's like one of my issues with the main game is like if you go to put down like fences and stuff like that, and then like somebody like there's like a present or a fruit drops near it and you go to pick it up, you just like tear the fence out of the ground.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, I didn't mean to do that. So I wish there was a way to like lock stuff in place on your island permanently, but I'm mostly just nitpicking. This is like a phenomenal game, and so necessary right now.
Yes, it's interesting because we talked about before we went on air the GameCube version of it, and that's the last one that I was really into was on the GameCube. I tried the Wii version a little bit, didn't get into it. Tried the DS one, didn't get into that, and I wasn't sure what it was. And then I'm playing this one, and I think it's because I didn't really play New Leaf that as much either. I played a little bit. This one feels a lot different from that GameCube one. Specifically, I think because there is like a pull, like there's an obvious objective, and they keep having things happen in front of you that makes it feel like you're doing something. I think I like the idea of you going to a deserted island essentially that you build up and you're trying to colonize essentially.
Totally.
Something about that is what's like you upgrade your tent to your house in your first day. Right, like everyone pretty much did that first day. They just said, "Yep, okay, you got all that done." And then you got to wait till like the next day, obviously. But like they get hit with like accomplishments constantly. They got like the Nook cards that are like those
miles
stamps,
the miles,
that you're supposed to keep, and like most people lose it, like the bagel shop or something. You get like for coffee or whatever. It's like, oh, you get this, and you stamp them, and you get miles. There's like this sense of like, keep pushing you ahead. And that's something that I know is missing from the GameCube one because everyone time traveled. You guys were talking about it, and I didn't want to say anything to admit it because I don't want to, admit that I'm a time travel necessarily.
Oh, okay, sure. Totally didn't assume already.
But yeah, you jump ahead pretty far in the GameCube version to get things done or make things happen.
I thought that like everybody time traveled, and we interviewed Bill Trennan from Treehouse the other day, and he was like, no, we don't time
was he
travel.
just appalled? He was like, What?
He was like, we like to play the game the way it was intended to be played. And it's like, oh.
Wait, I'm being interviewed by a time traveler? Who set this up?
No, but I think you totally nailed it. Like the sort of like giving you microcosmic rewards and objectives makes it so that you're doing what would be kind of like, tedious, mundane tasks in the old games, and here they're giving you points for them. You can trade them in for money, you can trade them in for furniture. It all funnels into like actual some sort of currency or multiple currencies that you can use to sort of beautify your living space. And I think it's such a smart way of doing it, because otherwise you're like just shaking trees and like digging holes, and you're
getting fruit and you're giving it to the Tom Nook to upgrade your house without asking you in the first place.
Yeah, like all of these games sort of end up funneling into this like one sort of part where a raccoon wants you to pay him $1.6 billion for like a side bedroom. And so you're just like shaking trees and you're fishing. And so at least now once you get into that sort of like late game, end game stuff, they'll give you a bunch of points, they'll give you a bunch of furniture, they'll give you all the stuff that makes it not feel like a chore. And I love that. I think that's such a smart addition.
Yeah, I like that they've brought the rest of the town into it too. Like you're building a museum, right? You have to actually build this shop that was just there. Like you take that for granted in the first one that I played. Like the shop's there, right? In this one, you got to build it. Like you're getting what, trees and stuff. You're like knocking down wood. You got to bring it to like the
creepy dead-eyed children.
Can I say though, like the one thing that was kind of frustrating to me is, granted, I didn't play the handhelds. My last one was City Folk. Okay. But I feel like the only frustrating thing, and I was telling people last night, was I feel like if they had pushed, if you play right at midnight, you will get basically 2 days in one, because it changes at 5.
Oh, right.
Okay. Like if you had done that, I feel like they could have pushed a lot more digital copies for download like at midnight, because there were places that didn't necessarily do the midnight launches. Some places, obviously got them earlier in the day because they decided that the retailers would sell them.
GameStop just started selling them. Yeah.
So I didn't know. Like well, first off, I wasn't expecting like Nintendo to send my code right at midnight. Normally for them, it's like Pacific time the next day, but they got it out right at midnight. So I was like downloading it off of like my hotspot in the other room, so I wasn't lagging stream because I was streaming at night.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's probably gonna take a while. We'll play it like tomorrow or whatever. And then I start playing yesterday, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are already a day ahead. Like I wasn't aware it was gonna change at 5. Dude, I would have stopped everything to play right at midnight.
Yeah.
So it was frustrating, but I think this is like the slowest, in my opinion, beginning to an Animal Crossing, where you genuinely like have to, if you're not time traveling,
because they have like a tutorial.
Not everything's open.
Beginning.
Not everything's available right away. Yeah.
I love that though. Honestly, even as
it's different. It's cool. Yeah.
That first day, my friends were over. We played it like 4 or 5 hours straight co-op, and we kind of did everything we could do that first day. And I needed to wait for them to build my house, so kind of this was this very natural stopping point. And then I dreamed about it that night, and then I woke up the next day, and I was like, oh well, I want to experiment more with custom shirts. Like I don't know, it became that like that habitual thing right away of like, I love the slow build up. Instead of being like, check out this already established island. You sleep over in that tent that smells like cat
definitely.
Pit. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of unwittingly created this amazing scenario where there's all these people taking screenshots of their island, and it's just covered in fish tanks.
Yeah,
which is
like true. Waiting for the museum.
Yeah, they're waiting for the museum to open, and they just look like insane people because they're just like welcome to my island. There's fish tanks and bugs just like everywhere.
I mean, but there's incentives to keep playing like in the hours that you would find in the past games where you can't really do anything at nighttime. Shops are closed. Not much you can do aside maybe a couple mundane things or work on your town or pick some weeds or something. This game with the miles system lets you literally continue playing as much as you want, basically. You can still travel to islands 24/7 to gather resources. There's just a lot to it that keeps you wanting to play. So like that first day when there's really only 3 or 4 hours of stuff to do, and then there's nothing until the next day, I still squeezed out multiple more hours because I was just playing all night and doing random stuff and catching animals and bugs. Or not animals.
So have you guys got catching animals?
Catching the neighbors.
Well, I go to the islands, I convince them to go to my island, and then they can never leave.
I like the idea of you bring like a human like gorilla to the Nook kids, and you're like, how many bells can I get for this? And they're like, sir, that's like one of the people that lives in our town. You can't be.
Sir, that's Jerry.
We need his mortgage payments.
You can't just bring an adult chicken in here and try to get
Bells.
10 grand. Have you guys gotten to the point where Isabel is like giving you messages every morning when you start the game?
Not yet.
Don't think we're at that point. Like if you're not time traveling. Yeah.
So one thing about it that I love is like I'll start playing the game at like 7 a.m. because I have a kid, so I'm up early. And Isabel in the game she has a desk, and there's just like it looks like a Manhattan, like it's like a nice cocktail, like it's got ice in it and everything. It's just like it's like 4 fingers of bourbon, and you're like, and she goes, hey everyone, thanks for showing up today. I don't really have any news, but like I stayed up really late last night reading magazines and watching TV. I really love TV. Anyway, have fun. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman?
Yeah, she's lost control. It just turns on and she just sits there and stares at the camera for 30 seconds and goes,
this is her vacation.
She saw the internet and she had nothing else to add anymore.
One of the things that I really liked about the game, I think John kind of talked on it a little bit, is like the Nook Miles. That really creates a sense of accomplishment that didn't click with me before in the past games. I played all of them and I'll just be like, all right, it's cool. I played the GameCube one the most, but this one really has that sense of accomplishment in there. And I think another cool thing is like all like the little like MacGyver hacks in this game. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about? Like all these little stupid things you can do to like save. Like let's say you can press like the Y button to kick the dirt instead of using your shovel to put back. So little stuff like
quality
that.
Of life.
Yeah, like, or even little stuff like let's say you have like the rock in the center and you want to farm like the nuggets or whatever. Like you like dig holes behind you so there's no recoil. Like I didn't know about this stuff before, and people like teaching me this type of stuff. No, I didn't know about it because I didn't play Animal Crossing before.
I'm learning all of this.
Those rocks.
Yeah, so like little things like that is like the little stuff is just so cool. Like the nice touches, you know, like the little like water by the beach and like, oh, dig that up. Like people say, hey, you can dig that. I'm like, what? Oh, that's what that was. You know what I'm saying? So all like the little things, especially if you're new to the series, is going to be like, it doesn't feel overwhelming, even though there's so much stuff in there, you know, and the Nook Miles to me is what makes the game tick. Without it, I don't think it'd be as good for me, at least. I don't know if I'd like the game anywhere near as much without the Nook Miles, but that's what makes it.
Did New Leaf have anything like that? Those card systems where you're getting rewards constantly? Anything like that?
I don't think so, no. I played a ton of that game.
Yeah, same. And I've actually been replaying it recently to warm up for this. I think it just had lots and lots of collectibles.
Do you know what this like those things? You know what that feels like actually? Like all those card stuff. It kind of feels like what's done in some of those cell phone gacha games almost. Yeah. Where they give you a lot of missions and stuff. I'm almost wondering if that Animal Crossing cell phone game had some ideas spill over into this without the obvious microtransactions and stuff.
Probably,
where they were like, how do we keep people constantly playing throughout? And it's kind of pulling what I've like. There's a cell phone game I play, Dragon Ball Z, a Dokkan battle game.
I'm gonna say Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, yeah,
right into an advertisement.
MVG, get the script.
With over 12 million players.
But they give you missions. You know what I'm talking about, right, Evan? Missions constantly to do. You're like, do this.
I
do
do
this,
not
this,
click that tab because I don't want to get suckered into that. Like I leave that
exactly.
thing
But you see what I'm saying, right? They give you all these objectives. That's like what's in like gacha games. It's almost like they pulled that from the Animal Crossing cell phone game to a degree through development. That's interesting to think about.
I think you nailed it too with the sort of like the bagel shop punch cards and stuff like that. Like that's spot on. Have you guys done any like the crafting stuff? Because I think that's like a really interesting element.
Tons of crafting.
I love how much you find new recipes. Sometimes just literally on the ground. I find so much stuff on the beach.
What? I haven't found anything on the ground.
There's one on the beach every day.
Yeah,
every single day
there's one. And it can be all sorts of different.
Oh, a bottle. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's those. But I've also gotten stuff. Just I think I've popped some balloons and I've gotten some recipes. One of the things I liked is definitely just talking to neighbors. I have like this goth dog lives on my island.
Cherry.
What? Yeah, Cherry. Yeah,
Cherry.
So I love her. And Cherry gave me the leaf umbrella, so I got that really early on. And then it rained the next morning, so I was walking around with my giant leaf umbrella.
Did you spin it?
Deal. Yeah, I'm just chilling. It's not. Whenever you press use, he twirls it all fancy.
Who gave that to you, Max?
Cherry.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. No, I don't.
Well, I think don't our island people get randomized to some degree?
Yeah, they're randomized.
They do, but I think the leaf is standardized because one of mine gave it to me as well.
I got a leaf. I got the leaf thing, and that's the person that I almost killed with an axe because it's A button as well to like talk to them and then swing axe. That's the person I was killed when I got the leaf thing.
I have a bodybuilding frog who's balding very ungracefully, and this goth dog who is so happy all the time. Sometimes she's like, "I'm just gonna scream today." It's like, all right, I can respect it.
Send the bald frog my way. We could talk. We'll figure out some stuff with the plus his head and all that.
You wanted to call the island of biceps. I was like, I can respect
you know what? Sean, you like Dragon Quest Builders too, though. Why aren't you on Animal Crossing?
I don't know.
Like you got like super into Dragon Quest Builders too.
I'm just kind of over Animal Crossing as a series.
Wow.
But this one's so much different.
It's not really.
Oh, it's so different.
Wait, we just explained a lot of stuff that's different.
I watched the crafting is really cool too. The crafting, the crafting is so good in this game. You combine it with the Nook Miles and the crafting, I think it creates a really different type of experience that even if you didn't like it beforehand, and I think also like we live in this day, right? The last time that we got Animal Crossing, it wasn't before, like streaming wasn't as big. This game is like the ultimate chill, like yo, you want to build a following, you want to get people to watch, like you want to just like relax and play. It is such a good streaming game.
We had Amiibo Festival.
Whoa.
Can I kick John off his own podcast? Is there any way we can kick him off his own podcast? Anyway, no. Can we delete this? No, but yeah, I think
Amiibo Festival murdered Amiibos actually. Like that game came out and they flooded the store shelves with so many Amiibos based on like a random otter in that game that like Best Buy was like, you got to stop sending us this shit. No one wants it anymore.
there was so many of them. They built like a shrine of like Isabel in my Best Buy.
Yeah, right? Well, that's like that. That store Five Below is like 90% Animal Crossing Amiibo at this point.
Yep.
The thing I really like about crafting is that like if you find a bunch of weeds on the island and you bring them to the store, they're like, we'll give you $4 for that. And if you're like, if I go outside and I turn these weeds into a hat, how much will you give me? And they're like $4,000. And you're like, you guys are fucking. What is wrong with your store?
Yeah,
you guys are fucked up. This is a fucked up business that you're running.
I feel so bad. One of the first items you get in the game, if you buy it like the first month, they give you a Nintendo Switch inside of Animal Crossing.
Oh,
you can set it in your house and turn it on, and it makes the click noise. I was really, really broke, and I sold it to those damn dead-eyed kids.
No.
You sold your Switch?
They gave me $7,000 for it.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I need the bells.
It's like I got the Animal Crossing Switch.
I'll just break.
I didn't play it on that one. I didn't get the special little Switch.
Oh.
Yeah, if you have the Animal Crossing Special Edition Switch, I don't know why I said that like that. You can they'll give you that version of it, but if you have the regular one, you can actually get the Animal Crossing one with like 36,000 bells through like Tom Nook's weird ATM.
Okay.
Really?
Because I have the Animal Crossing
awesome.
Switch, but it's just in a box behind me. It's just sitting there. So
yeah.
Well, you can have it in the game for 36,000 bells.
36. Well, let me get some straw hats, and I'll be all good, right?
What's that trade-in
Grass
value?
hats, some weed hats.
You gotta sell some weed hats.
I think I could just keep making accounts and keep having new people come to my island, and then they get that mail and give it to me because I can just get my other characters. So
that's true.
Infinite money.
I can't believe you sold your Switch on your Switch. That's crazy.
I know the meta disgrace I've brought upon myself.
You know what? The one thing that the GameCube version will always have over all of these games, all these Animal Crossing games, probably going forward forever. No,
the dump. Yeah, the fucking dump was awesome.
It's the NES games that you'd find.
Oh, dude, it's so true. Yeah.
We're gonna get those again.
Yeah.
So what I want in this game,
oh man,
there was so many weird games I never played on NES, like Clue Land, even like Wario's Woods that I played through the GameCube version. What I wish they did in this one was if you're a Nintendo Online subscriber, you can get an NES in your house.
Oh,
and
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right, and it'll kick to the app that has all the NES games in it, but keep it all in the Animal Crossing experience.
Dude,
Like,
which I know
you could get the NES and or a Super Nintendo and set it up in your house, and you walk up and it launched. Oh, that would be cool.
And that would boost the NES or the Nintendo Switch Online sales. I think people would be more inclined just because it's like another cool little touch for another game.
I totally agree. Yeah.
That was one of the best things though, is when you would just find an NES, like you would dig it up, or like it would be on an island that you visit through the Game Boy Advance, or all this. Like there were so many cool ways you could get them, and that was like there was like 20 something, like there was a lot in there. I would have to say, because the game itself, MVG, you know the game itself is little for Animal Crossing. It's like 32 megabytes.
Oh yeah.
I bet you those NES games made up like a third of that. Like if you really add up all the file sizes, it probably made up like a third of that file size, which is really funny.
It's so crazy to think that at one point Nintendo was just like, here's Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong for free.
Yeah.
Like
in there.
that like never again. I mean, I guess now with the online stuff, that's sort of there, but you're still technically paying for something. But I miss that.
That's a cool idea, though. They should do that. Tie it in. That'd be good. We'll see. Any other thoughts on Animal Crossing before we move into Doom, and then we'll do some super chats and Discord question from Evan. Any final thoughts on it?
I just want to say the museum and aquarium are so gorgeous. Like, oh man,
I haven't got to see them yet.
I just chill and
get it tomorrow.
I think mine's there now. I gotta go check it. But
if you go into the options and just turn the day forward. Okay. It could be tomorrow.
I love how much Blathers absolutely hates insects. Every time you bring him an insect,
he gets freaked out.
He's like, this is a butterfly. It's fucking revolting. I hate it. It's disgusting. Yeah.
Do you want to know some facts about it?
Yeah, I can tell you about it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to hear about it. It's like, this is a third of your job, man. You know, like this is 33% of your job is hoarding insects. Like you gotta be okay with this.
I can bring him like the craziest looking fish from the deep, and he'll be like, "Oh wow, that's very cool." I'll bring him literally like a pill bug. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? Disgusting! Ew! Get it out of here!" But I'll tell you some.
Why did you bring that shit to my house?
Man, it's gonna be a long play with Animal Crossing. People are gonna be playing this thing for a long time, so it's gonna be
it's kind of hard to put down.
Well, it'll be interesting when all the holidays and all the stuff they add in the events. That's when things get because they're going to do that as we go along through the online updates and everything. So,
for sure.
That's something technically you can't time travel to. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with for that. Discord question, Evan.
Trying to debate which one. I guess we'll go with two people kind of ask this. Due to the lockdown that's going on like right now, if somebody just got a Switch, what would be the go-to game for the suspected long period of time that we might be kind of stuck?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
I mean, if that's your first game, what did you say, Sean?
Troll and Troll and I.
Troll and I.
You dropped the hot Troll and I.
Oh man, yeah, I would go with Breath of the Wild. I mean, I like Mario Odyssey a lot, but I think you'd get more value out of Breath of the Wild overall.
Breath of the Wild is magical. When you first start playing it, man, when you start getting into it, it's just something different, man. It's so good. If I could go back and play it again for the first time, I remember I got fired from my regular day job back when it came out, and it completely made me forget about that. Even though I was like, yo, I need to make money to pay for my house. But
you got
time being, I'm okay right now because I'm playing Breath of the Wild.
Honestly, I'm going to throw out a different opinion. I was playing drunk Diablo last night with some friends. We all made hardcore characters, which, for those who don't play Diablo, when it dies, the character is deleted. So we were making it where every time we gained a level, we do a shot. So we're getting progressively drunker until we all eventually died. Diablo 3 is a fun, accessible, deep, crazy combat game. You can play co-op. It is good. It has so many freaking collectibles. It's definitely super, super good.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Diablo's good.
Let's go over to some super chats here. Johnny Rosado says, "Thank you for being on. I need an escape from CV." Gotcha, Johnny. Gotcha. Dingo says, "Boom shakalaka high." Just a voice says, "Ears." That was when we were talking about Mark Cerny trying to get you to send a picture of your ear, and Sean.
You ain't getting it.
I mean, Mark Cerny was very, very convincing on that podium. Okay. So, Alcatraz says, "Do any of you think we ever get another 007 game again?" Also, hi Brian, been following for years. Another 007.
Nice to meet you.
Man, there are so many licensing things to navigate there. I want to say yes, but oof.
Yeah, right. Where is that now? That's like, it's like Activision, Sony. Like I remember reading up on the GoldenEye stuff, and it's such a rat's nest. It's like, so Rare built the game, but like I think like Nintendo owned the publishing rights.
Rare made the game. Nintendo owned the 007 licensing rights to GoldenEye,
right?
But then Activision owned the rights to the movie at the time, but right now the movie license is in nobody's hands. But because Microsoft owns Rare,
there it is. So we need to get everybody together on like a company retreat and just have them play like blackout drunk Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. It makes business
get some paper signed, you know.
And sort it out. Get the paper signed and get that back out there.
Blackout Diablo is the best business maker.
New Table says, did any of you get a hold of a physical copy of Ononaki? I had to pay $145 to import one of the 1,000 copies.
Good Lord.
I didn't get a physical copy. It was on sale recently. It's on sale now digitally through the Square sale, but
I was hoping that they would do it because it's funny because Oninaki might be the best out of that trilogy of Tokyo, those Tokyo games that they're making, and like that one doesn't have the physical edition where the other two I think do. So it's
I got the other two physical, but I didn't get the third one.
Oh damn.
I didn't like Oninaki, honestly. I didn't like it at all. So I got the first two, not the third one.
Which one do you like the most? Which one do you like the most?
I Am Setsuna. I Am Setsuna had such an energy and excitement. Yeah, I felt like the developers were just so high energy. It was the first Tokyo RPG Factory project. I don't know. I kind of like that new studio feel to it. And then I like Lost Sphere more. I thought that Oninaki was too depressing. Like just personally, I was like, this game, it felt way too bleak.
Which is saying a lot because I Am Setsuna takes place like entirely in winter and it's like
a big old
sad piano music. Seriously. No, actually, I really like that game a lot.
Here's a good one for we gotta see what FMVG cracked here. Ethan R says, who's getting Half-Life Alex?
What if I could?
I mean, I really want to get the game, but I don't have a VR headset.
You were thinking about it, man. You were like, do I get the index?
Just make your own.
Is it coming to Series X? Is it coming? Can we get a Series X version of it?
I think it's coming out for the PSVR 2 with the PlayStation 5.
Well, looks like I'll be watching.
That might be one of their announcements whenever they decide to show that thing.
Labo VR. That's
here we go.
No, it's
that would be interesting.
IGN confirms.
IGN confirms. Half-Life Alex.
I about ended me playing Nintendo games completely after Labo VR. I was almost done completely with life after Labo. I was
that hurt. I actually
really disliked the Labo.
I love VR. I'm super. I have a Quest. I have a PSVR. I got the Labo VR and I played Breath of the Wild and I was like, I have to go throw up.
Yeah, it's not
like
that's okay.
Yeah, there are some people that like there are friends of mine that played through all of Breath of the Wild with Labo VR. And I'm like, damn, that's fucking
why
madmen are they?
Why?
I'm just imagining trying to play that in like the lightning and the rain and the grass.
What's his name? Andre from Game Explain played it in VR almost entirely. He loves it in Labo VR.
Right.
Really?
That's right. He loves it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big defender of that. Yeah,
and I love that hates VR on other platforms, but he loves Zelda and Labo.
Did he play Breath of the Wild VR on PC yet though?
No.
Ooh, I don't know
because that looks substantially better.
Oh man, yeah, I got to dig into that.
Like the emulator figured all that out, and it looks ridiculous.
Breath of the Wild like a VR? Is that like a game that's suited for VR? Even if it's really good, like what's the point of playing?
It looks like ass in VR.
Well, even if it was good VR, like Quest or whatever.
What they did was they have it so you mapped it to first person, and it has motion tracking as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can move around, look around.
So you can really fight Ganon.
Sure.
Like, would it be comparable or better to like a Skyward Sword's motion controls? That's the real question.
Skyward Sword VR. Skyward Sword VR. Let's do it.
I like that discussion. Let's get back into that discussion.
Let's yeah.
No
fringe. No.
I think I might get Half-Life Alex. Yes. I think because it works with the Rift S, right? Oculus Rift S. I think it does. So. Yes.
My old roommate is obsessed with VR.
I will get it for that.
He has a whole room based on VR. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy it for him and I'm just going to play it at his house and then be like, all right, good. Now I didn't have to set anything up. I just walked in, put on a headset, shot some
Isn't that the problem though? That's the problem I run into with VR is the setup. Oh my gosh, that's setup. I hope VR 2, whenever PlayStation shows that, it's like one cable. no cables.
Yep. No cables. Yeah. That's what I love about Quest. You just grab it and throw it on and it just works.
That's why
no, my hope
telling everyone is that. Yeah.
Seriously, my whole plan with Half-Life Alyx was go into work and just play on we have like a room scale VR set up there. And I was just going to do that. And now I legally can't go to my job because because we're on a shutdown.
Oh man.
Yeah, which is why I you guys have been doing this shit for years. I have nothing but respect for all of you. I threw this shit together in like on Tuesday morning. You know, and I have to go put this back when I'm done. Like this is just my regular living room. I have all the love in the world for YouTubers.
How's that been going? Working at home now?
It's well, the thing is, I think like with working from home, I think a lot of you probably it was something you actively chose to do and you made a commitment to it. I've done it before. I could do it again. I am doing it now. I think it's like a little bit different when suddenly you're just like kind of thrust into it out of nowhere. But you know, I'm lucky to be working. You guys are lucky to be working. Like it's the fact that we even get to keep doing what we're doing, and obviously that so many people are out of work right now and they're away from work and they're looking for shows like this to help them. I think that like we will do everything we can, bend over backwards to make sure that people have stuff to keep them entertained and informed and distracted from how fucking bleak everything is right now. So it's important, you know.
Ryan, I want to add to that. You said everyone's choosing to do this. Not me. I got thrown out like DJ Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince in my last job. That's how I got thrown out. I didn't choose it. I was thrown into it. No,
it was chosen for you.
Well, you're great at it, so it's you're the whoever fired you made a good call, not because not in that way.
No, they made they were right. They made a good call.
Yeah, they put you in a good spot because you're good at this. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
Then the next immediate super chat is the dude on the bottom right, the guy from IGN.
No.
That's Evan.
No, I'm from. I'm the guy from Impractical Jokers.
There you go.
Oh god.
We have two MVGs.
I get that shit a lot too.
Oh yeah. And then Leo John says Xbox already lost next gen # no games. Hey, it's got Halo Infinite, man. I'm on it.
What?
Wait, how?
It's already lost. Game over, boys.
So let me. So like, if the Outer Worlds 2 comes to the Xbox Series X, that's gonna be big. Get a new Fable game.
Hopefully, yeah.
But
Hellblade 2.
None of these consoles have games.
Yeah.
None of them have games. So everybody loses. So Switch wins, I guess.
I mean, right now the only PS5 game we know of is Godfall, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And
Outriders.
Yeah, but Outriders that's on the Xbox as well, right?
It's cross gen, yeah.
Well, I mean we'll get some events eventually, obviously getting closer to E3. So like, let's see what their first party studios are doing. Because I think we need to see what Playground's making before we make any calls on that. Let me go to Johnny Rosado says buy Twin Breakers Tuesday $9.99 on Vita and PS4. Randy Rosa says had my son playing Mario Kart 8 all day. Should I feel guilty about that given the state of the world, or is it chill? I know I would have loved a day like today at his age.
It's chill.
I would just play all the video games you want right now.
Play as much as you want right now.
I've actually seen some health officials saying like just keep your kids busy, like as long as you're making sure that they're calm and happy and like staying away from people who might be infected, like who gives a crap? Like they're playing video games, they're being okay, they're not smoking crack or smoking Corona, so you're okay.
Show them Banjo-Kazooie though. There you go. Do that.
No, 3 weeks ago they were like, don't limit screen time, don't show too much TV, and now they're like, handcuff your children to your television. We don't give a shit anymore.
They're like 12 hours of Netflix is just daily. That's fine.
They have Andy Ackerman just says you're awesome. Thanks, Andy. Justin says even though Dreamcast guy warned us in his preview video, am I the only one that thinks Doom Eternal's difficulty jump was a bit too extreme? Who asked Bethesda for a Soulsborne Doom game?
It's weirdly hard.
Let's go into Doom Eternal now. Then I'll come back to the messages here. Let's go into Doom Eternal actually, because I played it. Max, you played it. MVG played it. We'll go into this for a little bit, and then we'll jump into the PS5 stuff. And Brian also played it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. I think I've played it for about 5 hours now because I was going between that and Doom and Animal Crossing, back and forth. I like Doom Eternal. It is. I did feel that difficulty spike though, because even if you pick like normal difficulty, it feels like it's one notch up from Doom 2016. Kind of. I get what you're saying, but I do like Doom Eternal quite a bit right now from where I am. I don't know if there's gonna be like if it's gonna change much because I feel like I'm a third of the way through maybe right now based on what you said, Max. You said about 15 hours out of it, right?
Yeah, it's about 15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
Okay, because from what I've played so far, there's been a lot of action. Of course, there's quite a bit of customization. Like I feel like there's more by a good bit here than there was in Doom 2016.
The hot swapping mods is such a cool touch.
That's very satisfying, yes, because you basically rip it off in front of the gun and crash it right back on there. Like the suit upgrades is fine. Although the one thing I've noticed, and maybe it's just me, looking at all of the upgrades, for some reason, when I get one, it doesn't feel as, I guess, impactful as I would like it to.
Like, do you mean the ones that like the talent point ones or the health increase, ammo increase? Because there's like the two
like
different kinds of suit upgrades.
I guess
you mean like a new weapon or something, or
I mean some of the weapons are okay, but like there's like the suit upgrade that's like it mentioned that like red barrels won't necessarily hurt you if you're too close to them.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, I guess I'll spend points on that. All right, sure. I just didn't. Some of them just don't feel like I even need them because. And I look down. There's like an achievement for just spending 1 point or something, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah, okay, sure.
You definitely don't get excited about the upgrades. Like it seems like the main primary thing that makes you stronger in that game isn't necessarily like putting another talent point into a gun. It's learning it. Like the biggest thing about this game is definitely just like learning it.
My favorite part about the game is the damage that the enemies take as you shoot them. That is one of the best parts. Like you are like lighting them up with like your rail gun or like your shotgun. Chunks of them will fly off.
Yeah.
And it like they have so many different stages, and like you take their arm off, parts of their shoulder will come off, and they just degrade down as you beat them up until finally you can do the glory kill. And some of them have like weak points that are actually pretty interesting, like the flying with the flying red. What are those called?
Cacodemons?
Oh yeah, wait, what do they call the big eyeball guy?
Yeah, you shoot them with a grenade, and if you land the grenade in their mouth, it'll explode, and then you immediately can do a glory kill.
You can do that off your shoulder. You can do that with a grenade launcher. Like, there's a few ways to get that to happen.
Like those kind of things are really, really cool in it. Or you destroy different parts that make them weaker from like long distance.
The brain turret one, the revenants, you can shoot out their cannons. I like that, dude. The body destruction, like the charger guys, the big buff charger guys. I had one of those guys coming at me, and I kept shooting him in the knees with a rocket by accident, just because I was trying to duck backwards, and it broke him down to practically his bones to the point at which I could see like the raw singing. It was nuts. That by the time I did a glory kill, it was like,
some of those glory kills are ridiculous. Where you're like, one demon, you grab him, the imp, you break his arm, and then you stab him in the face with his broken bone. I'm like, my God, jeez, it is impressive stuff sometimes.
Yeah, you kind of forget like that you're a fucking superhero in that game. Like even early on in the game, like a door opens up and you walk out onto this like massive cliff, and you're like, everything's down there. What's the safest way to get down there? Oh, just walk off the ledge. Because you get no fall damage. You fall like a mile and you just land and you just start tearing motherfuckers open. It's awesome.
It's great, yeah. Because when it really gets moving, it's pretty awesome. I don't even have that much of a problem with a lot of the like. They basically have like their own platforming kind of stuff where you clean the walls.
I love the platforming now.
I don't have any problems with it. Yeah, I think it's fine.
It took me a little while to get used to the jumping and the grabbing onto the ledges and stuff, because it's a lot more vertical than the last game, from what I remember.
Yes,
the last game you would jump up ledges and stuff, but this one is like you're like going across the map to somewhere else. And it took me a little bit to get used to that, but otherwise, I think the game is awesome. I do think that it is a lot more difficult than the 2016 version, but I don't think it's like unfair or anything like that.
What are you playing it on, MVG?
I'm playing on PC.
You're playing on PC with 1080 Ti, right?
I got 4K 60.
Runs about 4K. Okay.
Yeah, it's not locked at 4K 60, but it's just about 4K 60, and I think the experience is fantastic.
I wanted to grab it on the Xbox One X. I figured you were going to get PC. I almost got it on PC with this 2070 Super, but I was like, I'll let because I know you were going to get it there. I was like, I'll get it on the X, and I had a feeling Max is going to get it on the PS4.
PS4 Pro, yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool. So we all get different games.
I don't know. I'm playing it on the Pro, and it's loud. That system is just
I filmed because I was playing it for the review when the PS4 or PS5 tech thing happened, and I decided for demonstrative purposes to explain solid state drive. I was like, I'll turn on Doom Eternal in the background and hold the controller and explain like load times and stuff. And the first time I tried to record that part of the video, in the background you could just hear like
hey, I've been saying for a while that the PS4 Pro is overmatched for that heatsink, and people would always get on me, and guess who said it on stage this week? Mark Cerny. I saw that, I was like, you know what? Thank you.
No, you're totally right. We've had for like ever since that system launched, I've been like, wow, that thing is loud. Literally the day I hooked it up, and I didn't even put it in like my entertainment center or anything. I had it like on top, and it sounded like a helicopter. And I had a bunch of people like, on Twitter and stuff like that being like, well, mine's quiet. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you got a broken one, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
the cooling solution is one of the cheapest parts of that system. It is not set up for that chip at all.
Remember the days of the Xbox?
There's two fans in there. Right? If you get the dud one like me and Brian, you get the super loud one. But if you get like the newer PS4 Pros, like anything after like the Red Dead Redemption 2 edition beyond, you get the quieter one.
Not to go on a tangent, but I kind of hate like quiet hardware revisions that like aren't really like overt, and they sort of fuck over early adopters. Like same thing happened with PSVR, where they like basically hardware patched in the HDR pass-through thing. Yep. And so you didn't have to like swap cables or like buy a converter or anything like that. And so anybody who bought a PSVR after I spent months telling everybody to buy a PSVR got a better PSVR than I did. Ooh, that's the most amount of times I'll ever say PSVR in one sentence.
I'm getting a kick out of Doom though right now. I'm really enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep playing it. Try to finish it up this week.
So for real, how the hell is panic button going to get a Switch version
I thought about
game?
that too.
Dude, have you seen how incredible this game looks? How are they going to pull this off on the Switch for real?
Especially because so many of those shots are so like dramatic. Like when you first walk out onto Earth and you see like behemoths and burning buildings and stuff. It's like, is this just going to be a platform in the middle of a red fog? Like, how is this going to be possible?
I was thinking the exact same thing when I was playing it the other day, and like you first walk out and there's that giant demon and you're like, man, that's not going to work well. We'll see.
Well, definitely lower textures get you a little bit more of that atmosphere going away, but I'm guessing you might see less demon destruction.
Maybe.
If they pull it off, that's going to be Panic Button's like best accomplishment so far, because that game is insane right now. So big respect whenever they get that out, and if it looks alright.
I have like no plans to play it on Switch. I'll definitely check it out, see how it looks, but I'm like oddly fascinated in like sort of like lo-fi demake ports of stuff like that. Like there was a Call of Duty game, I forget which one, it came to DS, and it was like there's a at the end of the game, like a helicopter comes in and a bridge blows up, and I had played it on like modern consoles at the time, and then I played the DS version, and it was just like 6 polygons, just like it just exploded in the air. It's like it's wonderful.
Dude, I'm obsessed with the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Super into it. Huge collector. They would port, giant air quotes, port games to the Game Boy and just completely destroy them. And one of the things they did is they put Turok games on there, and they're side-scrolling puzzle shooters.
Yeah.
Don't make any sense, and I beat all of them. It's like, I'm fascinated by that.
I'm a huge Game Boy fan, and I love that stuff.
Did you guys see like Call of Duty on the Wii, for example, like how they did?
Oh
that
God,
game?
yeah.
I mean,
dude,
that
you
wasn't
can still play them online. The service
still wasn't too bad. I mean, obviously, it was nowhere near as good, but
my friend was reviewing that for IGN at the time, and he captured this video of like it's like a fly into a city, and it just looks like totally normal. and you're like, all right, this is everything's fine, and then like a frame hiccups, and then all the buildings are on fire, and you're like, oh shit, what happened?
Let's move over to the PlayStation 5 here. We had an interesting meeting, I guess, that took place. I was just gonna ask Sean about this thing, and he's gone.
Man, my man did.
He had prior commitments.
Oh yeah.
He had to go smoke.
Sean had a very strong opinion on what we're about to get into here, and I wanted to ask him about it. But that's fine. But we did have a PS5 event, I guess you'd call it, quote, event, although it was hyped up as one before they started it.
Yeah, it was a GDC conference. Come on, let's be honest what this thing was.
Gamers weren't supposed to see this. This was a developer.
He's back.
But hold up. They literally were advertising it to the general consumers. They YouTube premiered it.
That's OJ. I totally agree with you. I think the way
that's my issue too.
The way that they advertised this was completely incorrect. They should have. Well, they shouldn't even advertise it.
Yeah. But the way, I mean, this is the thing. If we read the tweet, it was very clear. It is exactly what we got. Now, should they have actually made that the only way we got the information initially? No, they should have had Digital Foundry, IGN, GameSpot all run an article, have the PlayStation blog, have the video embedded, and it releases at noon. Would have been fine. They shouldn't have premiered that video and had us had a 52-minute lecture from Mark Cerny about SSDs, and then him, talking about whatever. That was the problem. I'm like, they put the tweet out. They said, you're going to get an architectural talk by Mark Cerny about the future of, game development and design. And that's what we got. For some reason,
they did that last time. In 2013, they did it, but it was so much more entertaining. They talked about the architecture in 2013, yet they actually showed proof of concept. They showed all the blue balls bouncing or whatever from what they can do.
Yeah.
Do their, whatever it was. They showed
like that, OJ.
I remember blue ball.
No, I mean,
they showed a bunch of blue balls bouncing in that. They did.
They gave blue balls this year too.
Yeah, no, blue balls is the perfect way to describe to the road to PS5.
They showed a bunch of blue balls on the PS4. They did. I'm just telling you guys the facts here. Yeah. And they also showed off other stuff as well. It was kind of boring. It was cool, but it was they shouldn't have done it the way that you explained it should have been done way better. But they really promoted this as in, hey, all of you guys that know nothing about architecture and all that, or you guys should still watch it too. They promoted it that way. Otherwise, you don't premiere it and all that, bro.
The general population right now is starving for information about the system. We are so excited for it. We're so hyped. And to lead with this, it's like you have to do a shot chaser sort of scenario, right? Like you hit us. It's like, just give us everything we need up front, and then do the sort of nerdy tech talk afterwards. Like give us something that's like big and loud and dumb, and then do the deep dive into the architecture.
Just a silhouette of the possible box and some fireworks going off behind it.
Totally. 1,000,000%. If they just showed us the box of the controller, nobody would have gave a shit. Like, it could have been a 2-hour example of him being like, and here's some paper clips in my office. But if it ended with them actually showing the box, people would be fine. It's the fact that it was a 53-minute discussion about slides that look like they're star charts from fucking Star Trek, and then at the end, nothing. So,
Sean, what'd you think about it, Sean? You seem excited.
Like I get the whole it wasn't for general consumers, it was a GDC presentation, but you know what, you have to adapt to situations that are happening, and obviously this is the first time we're going to talk about the PS5 like this in a public video manner, and you do that. And nobody, 99.5% of people that watch that shit had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. Nobody wants to see their ass.
I knew what he was talking about.
You guys are the other 0.5%. You guys are the 0.5%.
You guys are the 0.5%.
You guys are the ones drooling over this information. Everybody else is falling asleep.
Sean, would you believe me if I told you that Sony actually did try to casualize some of the information in that presentation?
You were tried.
They tried, but it's still Mark Cerny's orating, and he's going to do it in his style. Even if he's just going to say "good day" to you, it's going to be in a Cerny way.
He's good. He's a good presenter, though.
He was
No,
excited.
it's
He was
terrible.
no, dude. I love it. He was so excited. It was a guy coming out and explaining physics to us, but we're ants, so it doesn't fucking make sense.
The problem is, I think a lot of this could have been. They could have done the presentation like this and did all the technical mumbo jumbo if they just showed practicality. If they showed the stuff in use instead of fucking slideshows.
I agree.
with little
He kept
graphs
saying,
and shit.
He kept saying, and the developers back in the office really love this feature. It's like, well, fucking show.
Yeah, throw it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
like we touched on it in our video a bit, MVG, and like we both enjoyed the presentation. The means in which they marketed the presentation is iffy. Like I said, it should have just been an info drop on the PlayStation blog, give out all those specs, and then those interested could have watched the video. But like we even saw on Twitter where developers were kind of hyping it up before the day before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's great. id Software is excited about some of the technical elements that the PS5 is going to deliver, but to the mass consumer, we don't care about SSD speed. It doesn't matter to us. We have to see it in actual form. We have to see Spider-Man demonstration where those load times are improved, or the rendering. We have to see real world demonstrations, and they didn't give us that. And that was the problem, is that Cerny can talk about the tech all he wants and how it excites him, but we're not engineers, we're not developers, we're consumers. We have to see practical applications be put in visual form, and that's where Sony's marketing so far has been completely off target.
Not just that weird waveform on the screen behind him.
There was
no, it's no, you're gonna say
there was a Spider-Man demo with shareholders that they showed.
Yeah, the behind the door demo looks so
in like
good.
less than a second, and they didn't show it for some reason.
Right.
I know.
Like that's interesting stuff. That would have made the presentation a lot more interesting. It would have given people a reason to be excited for this information instead of sitting there on Twitter trying to dissect it and, well, this has this many teraflops and this has this many teraflops, but the SSD on this is better. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not developing games for these systems. You are a consumer. The only thing you should really care about is how the games are going to run on these systems. And like, I've seen, I'm going to yell for a minute. I've seen so many fucking people on the internet like, well, the Xbox Series X has won this generation because it has 12 teraflops and the PS4 only has 10.3. And it's like, motherfucker, do you people not understand video game history? Please inform me when the last time a raw spec powerful console, the most powerful console on the market during that console generation, won a console generation. Please show me.
PlayStation 4.
Jaguar.
No, technically Xbox One X.
The Xbox One X is the most powerful system on the market. Please show me where the most powerful system in terms of raw specs has won a console generation, whether it be consoles, whether it be handhelds. Never.
Not about
Nintendo
specs.
I mean, at the end of the day, games is what matters, and using this shit in practicality is what matters. Well, Xbox can come out with the most powerful system in the world, but if they haven't learned their lesson with the Xbox One, is that, you know, making these exclusive games that make people excited for their system, they'll end up in the same situation. I think they have learned their lesson, but just like, it's so silly.
There's a bunch of dudes like debating over baking soda, and like we haven't started it yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it sort of feels like if we waited 5 years for the trailer for Avengers Endgame, and they're like, we're gonna do a deep dive into the cameras. Like, we don't give a shit. Nobody cares about the cameras. Show us the trailer.
See, I want to know about them cameras.
You want to know about the cameras. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, so what I think is that you should get your video about the cameras. Also get the Endgame trailer at the same time. You know, I agree. Like bring the smart and the dumb people together in the same room, and we can all cheer. Well, not anymore. We can't be in the same room anymore, which is why we're doing this. But
6 feet apart.
Back in the olden days,
like in the video with MVG, I use the example.
Back in the olden days of 2019, we could go out.
Right. I will take you back to the golden days. Like MVG, we use this analogy where I said all the tech talk, like the teraflops, it reminded me of the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era, where we would have Microsoft come out and say, we're moving 100 million polygons a second. And Sony came out, we're doing 60 million. And here's Nintendo saying, we're doing 6 to 12. Because that was real world performance. But Sony and Microsoft were doing the hypothetical, maximums. You were never achieving that. And then when you actually brought into real world performance, PS2 was, lower than the GameCube. And that's what we're seeing with the teraflops. The teraflops don't mean anything until we actually see them applied to software.
Exactly.
So, like we still have to wait to see the games. And I think Sony missed their opportunity just to come out with one trailer. All they need is one in-engine trailer.
My favorite meme this week was all the Xbox stats next to all of the PS5 stats, and then there was just a picture of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't see it.
MVG, you saw the stats. I'll read them to you. The PS5 is basically the same CPU for the most part. As the Series X at 3.5 gigahertz, GPU's 10.28 teraflops. We come to that number through 36 compute units at 2.23 gigahertz. Custom RDMA 2, same as the Series X. The memory on the PS5 is interesting because it kind of sits between the Series X, because the Series X has 10 gigabyte pool at 560 gigabytes per second, and a 6 gigabyte pool at 336.
Yeah, it sounds like it's unified GDDR6 on the PS5.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The biggest difference would be the SSD for the most part. I mean, pretty much against everything. 5.5 gigabytes raw for the PS5 with their compression 8 to 9 gigabytes. And that's going to work through NVMe, of course, as their expansion slot, which is really weird, by the way, because it's kind of a double-edged sword. So they can tell you what NVMe drive you can go out and get. Microsoft is just providing a memory card, essentially.
Yeah, I'm okay with PlayStation's idea.
I am too.
On this one because they've always been a little more open about like, hey, just expand the drive. If you want to expand your PS3 drive or your PS4 drive, just drop it in your drive. We don't care. Microsoft, as you know, it's almost impossible to replace, an internal drive on an Xbox One or Xbox One X.
I've done it, but don't tell anyone. Go on.
So I'm pretty good with the fact that they've just left the M2 standard available to expand it. I mean, obviously there's no drives available now, but I think that will change going forward. My concern on both camps is how much is it going to cost to add external storage on. Like a 1 terabyte Microsoft Series X drive is probably going to be a lot of money.
I'm going to say $150.
I was going to say $199. Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of money for expansion.
But we did bring up at one point the expandable hard drives for the old 360 being similarly like ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you those SATA 4 PCIe, those NVMe. Dude, that's going to be some money. Yeah. That's minimum 150 for a 1 terabyte.
I don't think Sony's going to be much cheaper at all, but I think what Sony has going for them in this instance is I think their prices will decrease, faster than the Microsoft.
I agree with that.
But I mean, they're both in a rock and a hard place because they obviously want to get super fast loading, and this is really the only solution to get there. So, I think Sony's solution to this is probably preferred over the Microsoft one, but we'll see.
Well, first off, I want to say that Microsoft will have the advantage because they can put those memory cards directly next to the system in Walmart, Best Buy, and all this stuff. So it's gonna be very easy to sell to moms and dads at Christmas time.
Yeah, there's gonna be a list online on Sony's website telling you what to get. Let me give you this. Let me put
the Best Buy name tag on you for a minute, MVG. The mom comes up and says, "This has 825 gigabytes of storage. How do I add more?"
Is she going to say gigabytes? Isn't she just going to say like GBs?
She's going to say something weird.
It's got 10 GBs.
I've never heard a mom say, I need 825 gigabytes. I don't think I've ever heard anybody's mom say that at all. Nobody's mom has ever said that.
Well, she might come in and say,
filling up.
Well, what happened?
I talked to a lot of moms, by the way. Just let you know. I've talked to a lot of moms. Not a single one of them has ever said that. I'm saying.
Go on.
I'll tell you what happened to me a lot. Evan knows too. Evan knows too. People would come in and say their Xbox was full, their Xbox One was full, and they needed more space, and we would just sell them an external hard drive. That was it.
Yeah.
You sell them a memory card. That's like, yep, here's the Xbox branded memory card. It has Seagate on there, but it's Xbox branded, verified to work. I don't have to mess around with it, and you don't have to install it in the system, and we still don't even know how it works.
I'll present you a question here. MVG and I touched on it in our video. Okay. What do you think Microsoft is going to leverage xCloud to alleviate some of these storage concerns?
Oh, that is a good. Oh, so yes, I do. I think what they're going to do is they're going to work with that for some processing in the game if they can get away with it. I don't know how.
Dude, I'm going to take it further. Remember when the 360 came out and Xbox Live was integrated into the whole system? I think xCloud's going to be integrated into the Series X the same way that the Xbox Live was integrated into the 360.
Here's how I think xCloud will work immediately. I think you pop the disc in. It'll figure out what disc you have. it'll immediately go to xCloud and start streaming the game.
That's
like no questions asked. You're streaming. The game is installing from the disc this whole time, and then there is this handoff while you're playing that you don't really see. Maybe the resolution jumps, and you're like, oh, okay. YouTube the video buffered or something like that, and all of a sudden you're playing. I think that's how xCloud will be leveraged immediately, is through that. Which I think is a smart idea to do that. But let me ask you this question, MVG. Do you know what I got the entire 52 minutes of that presentation while Mark Cerny is revealing these really odd numbers at times? 825 gigabyte SSD, right?
Yeah.
Variable frequency on this system. By the way, that 10.28 teraflops, that's the roof. It's more or less going to be right around 9.2 teraflops.
And if you heard him, he was saying we haven't really peaked at that performance yet. We're like 10% lower than that. And I was like, what? What does that mean?
Do you know it? Also, by the way, the audio stuff's not going to be ready day one from what he was describing. It's going to be an ongoing thing that they work on.
The Tempest 3D stuff. I mean, he was talking about 3D modeling your earlobe and all this stuff. Like,
hey, man, just send a picture into Sony. Get that picture.
It's like, are you guys even ready for the next generation? I kind of walked away feeling, wow.
I was a little concerned. There were rumors last year about the PS5 being... there were 2019. There were some rumors about we saw Sean Layden walk away. There was some weird stuff going on. But when I'm looking at this PS5, by the way, do you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing some price cuts here, MVG.
Oh yeah, Nate and I
some price cuts.
Nate and I agree. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna say this now. Okay, it's March 21st, 2020. I think the big reveal for the PS5 is that it's $399.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Series X is $499 and PS5 is $399.
But
interesting.
I mean, that SSD is pricey. I think that's the biggest thing for Sony to fight.
I think they're right up against it. 825. That's a weird number.
If they go $399, if they hit $399, they're taking a substantial loss on the hardware, and it's going to be a question of, is the loss going to be enough for them to say we have that price advantage over Microsoft? But the way Microsoft has been in this lead up, are they going to be aggressive and say we're not giving that to you, Sony?
Here's something interesting here's something interesting I picked up in this keynote. I think there is. I want to say I have a theory that there's a pretty good deal behind the scene between AMD and Sony, because if you remember during it, Mark Cerny mentioned that they had helped AMD so much that the stuff that they had come up with the PS5 for that GPU was going to find its way into AMD's own cards. So I'm wondering if some of the stuff that they're doing behind the scenes, if they actually managed to get a good deal from AMD, and maybe that flash storage is the hardest part for them to get down, and that's why it is the obvious number of 825 gigabytes that everyone saw coming, right? It's like that to me is like they went right against what they could for cost or what they could actually get from the factory.
I didn't read too much into the 825. I just felt like that was what was available after the OS was installed onto the drive. So maybe it's actually like a 1 terabyte drive, but
that's it right there. Like that's the actual that's the actual amount, because they have it compared to 1 terabyte for the Xbox Series X. So it's going to be like 768 or something like, something like that.
Okay. That's a couple of games right there, right? Like that the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, that's 2 games.
Well, hold on. They're gonna the file size is supposedly coming down, right?
We'll see about that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I have seen some speculation of if certain games are 100 gigs or something, like some games this generation that had 4K textures, where some people are being like, okay, so does that mean I'm only going to have 5 open world games installed at a time on my PlayStation 5? I mean, we'll see.
The thing is, Red Dead was 102 gigs or something like that.
Yeah, it took a day to install.
Yeah, that's a fifth of your basically stock hard drive on a PS4 Pro.
Final Fantasy 7 from start to finish is going to take up the whole damn PS5.
It'll just come pre-installed. Can't get anything else on it.
It's going to take up our whole damn lives too. That's
exactly.
We might get part 3 before we all hit the age of 100.
Hey,
by the time real life Meteor will show up and kill us with fake Meteor.
I think Final Fantasy 7 I think it'll wrap a little sooner than we're expecting.
If we get part 2 before 2023, we'll be lucky.
Okay. I think a lot of the base work is done, and they're doing extra stuff on top. I think most of the actual base work for the game is
fully
they mentioned
agree.
this. They mentioned this already in an interview.
Yeah. 100%. I think we're going to get one every years.
Now, I can't guarantee that they won't just restart development for some Square Enix reason. But
19 parts to this game, bro. They're gonna break this game up into 500 parts.
Did you see the newest Final Fantasy VII remake trailer? There's a 1-second clip of Meteor in it. So I think that they're gonna try and set a bunch of clues for part 3 and part 1. I do think it's just gonna be a trilogy.
Okay, so the backwards compatibility.
Like Kingdom Hearts.
Backwards compatibility.
Oh no! Don't say. Why would you put those words out there, Miss Click? Oh my God! A trilogy with 19 spin-offs. Oh no!
Backwards compatibility on the PS5 was confusing, way more confusing than it should have been this week. I don't understand what happened here. I don't know if Mark Cerny's teleprompter had some weird numbers on there. I don't know.
Apparently, it was like 100 of the 100 games will be boosted in terms of like performance.
Is what they tested, because they're going through and they're testing it.
Yeah, and that's what. But he didn't convey it in a good. He conveyed it in a bad way. Like only 100 games. The top 100 games are only going to be there. So pretty much everyone thought. I know some people didn't, but everyone thought. Wait a minute. There's only the top 100 games. What about everything else? So they had to come out and clarify.
Right.
That shocked me. Yeah, I was like, what?
That's why it's one of our Discord questions. Well,
no, really. Okay, what's the Discord question?
Well, they were just confused. Is it 100 games only or 100 games that are better? It's basically what we're talking about.
Yes. Go ahead, Brian.
That's the thing that's like, Xbox is coming out with their messaging. Just like everything works. That's it. Everything you've ever had is here and it's back and it's there. And backwards compatibility is all caught up to speed. And day one, you have it all. That's very clear messaging to consumers. Pretty easy to understand. And with Sony, like they to make a statement and then have to clarify the statement, and then for us to not still have like 100% of a understanding how that's going to work. I mean, I did like the fact that that Mark was talking about the sort of evolutions in backwards compatibility, and instead of having to kind of retrofit and take emulated versions of old consoles, they found a way to get the PS2 and the PS3 and such up to speed on the PS5. But still, they need to come out and say, this is what you're getting, this is what works, this is what doesn't work. So people can get a clear understanding of what they're actually buying into.
Yeah,
it's. So wait, are there PS3 and PS2 games?
No,
not confirmed.
Not yet. There was a lot of room on that graphic.
Not yet.
Yeah,
not yet. And look, I've said this before, guys. I mean,
PlayStation library.
No, you're good, man. Like Sony has never invested anywhere near the amount of dollars on backward compatibility and emulation that Microsoft has. Jim Ryan, he doesn't even care about backward compatibility. Multiple times he stated that it's not important to the ecosystem of Sony. They want to look forward. They don't care about going backwards. And it really shows with this announcement on the backward compatibility stuff. None of this is really a surprise to me. The 100 games at launch thing was very confusing, but it was kind of clarified later that, we'll get all 4,000 games running, which is what we expect. But anything beyond that, honestly, is a bonus because, sure, we'll get PS1 and maybe some PS2. Forget PS3. That was never going to happen. Like everyone was saying, PS3 is coming.
Right.
No way in hell PS3 was.
Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PS5 though.
Yeah, I mean it's such a bummer because it's like if they're all chasing essentially like a mobile phone sort of like rollout with things now in terms of having mid-generation jumps in power and redesigns and stuff like that. But like when you buy a new phone, you sync everything and ostensibly everything shows up with you. There's obviously always going to be some games that get lost in new operating systems and updates. But like people like knowing when they buy a PS5 that they're going to have a whole bunch of legacy shit that they bought already show up on day one. Even with like PS4 having upgrades for like it was like what was like Flower and like Journey and like a couple other random games were just there on day one. So on day one on PS4, I'm already starting to build out a library before I start buying anything. And like that's the ecosystem that people want to buy into.
Another way to think about it is when the PS4 launched, everyone was like, okay, how do I get Metal Gear Solid 4 to run on this thing? And no one, I mean, it's like, well, you can't, you're screwed. It's like the PS3,
Get the emulator on your PC, you're good.
But see, that's where Microsoft is winning this conversation as far as backwards compatibility goes. They came out very clear. Everything's going to work. You're going to have Game Pass. You're going to have all access to all your Xbox One games, the 360 games that are backwards compatible, the original Xbox games. Like you're going to play Ninja Gaiden Black, automatically get it in 4K. That's amazing. Whereas Sony's still kind of like, We have plans. We botched them when we announced it because we didn't convey it properly, and then they had to fix it. But we saw with the Xbox One when Microsoft completely screwed up when they initially unveiled the system. That first message is what resonates with the audience. And right now, people are just going to remember we don't have good backwards compatibility going onto the PS5 right now. Like they can clarify it all they want, but it takes a lot of time to fix that mistake.
And well, this is a you go for it.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is a company that won over this generation. I would say with one of the most clear, simple messages, which was Adam Boyes and Shuhei Yoshida handing each other a video game shot on a cell phone in a hotel room, and that's the kind of messaging that the general populace is looking for. And to kick off this generation with like this 55-minute sort of deep dive tech presentation is like, it's not it. It's not what people want right now. And like, I do hope they get to a point where they can just like be very clear with their messaging and then get into the deep dive stuff. But yeah.
What were you saying, OJ?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think the biggest issue, I know, like, all of us, we're gonna get it, day one and everything like that. But there's a lot of people out there, man, that don't have like the money they need to be able to trade in their system. And they want to be able to know that it's like, hey, everything's going to be able to work. I have it, and like it sucks. Like Sony needs to do a better job of that, because if people need to trade in their system, but they don't know which games that they're going to get, like to get some money off of this, because these systems are going to be expensive, right? You guys talk about maybe $499 or $399 or whatever, but you also have to factor in like the online every single year. That's like another drop, another 60, right? PS Now, if people are going to get that, or Xbox Game Pass. Like they're also selling you a bunch of services. So as well, so I mean, it's like
controllers are going to be like $90. Like
controllers.
Dude, I'm terrified of that controller price.
Sony's controller is going to sense your heat, and it's going to sense if you went for a run the other day or something.
Bonus of it telling you your medical problems. It'll be great.
Not to get dark, but like this is a weird year. Like a lot of people are going to get hit financially, and they're not really going to make. They're going to want to be very selective in terms of like the luxury purchases that they make. While many of us may be like, we're going to buy both for day one because it's our job, it's our passion, we care. For a lot of people, they're going to pick one system and stick with it for the next 5 or 6 years. So they want to know they're buying into something that they can count on day one,
especially if your purchases follow.
I've been talking to a lot of my subscribers, a surprising amount, or surprising to me. A lot of them have said that they have no interest right now in the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5 at all. And it's not the price point. It's that there's still no real gameplay out there. There's no like, this isn't God of War 2. We haven't seen Halo Infinite. So I've seen a lot of people saying like, I'm still extremely happy with my current gen console. I'm still playing my Switch 80 hours a week. I've actually had some of my subscribers talking about the fact that they're like, until I see a $500 value game, because that's basically what you're going to be spending is $500 for those launch games. So right now, I'm not at all interested, which I think is interesting. Is that there's not that same positive buzz we had with the last generations.
No, and it's supremely difficult to get that messaging across when like these systems, especially PS4, are having tremendous final years. This is one of the best swan song years for any console ever. And so they're going to pivot from being like, here's Last of Us, here's Final Fantasy VII, here's Dreams, Ghost of Tsushima, all these big games, to all of a sudden be like, hey, your PS4 is pretty old and crappy, isn't it? And you're like, no, man. Like, you've been telling me all year long that it's awesome. Like, why the fuck would I get rid of it right now when you've given me 6 reasons? Yeah, put it in the garbage. You've given me 6 reasons this year to keep it. And so, like, that's going to be a really interesting transition, because after Ghost comes out, they're going to just drop conversation on PS4 and then just all of a sudden be like, PS5.
I think once we get that big game, though, people are gonna be like, all right, I'm in. It's Spider-Man 2. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get that.
Most of them talked about it not being a thing for a few years after release. So like,
no, well, that's for Microsoft is going to do that. Release. Yeah. But I mean, they're gonna have Halo Infinite. I want the best experience for Halo Infinite when I get it. So yeah, I'm gonna get to
Microsoft and Sony are very different situations in regards to like software. I mean, we could tell Microsoft basically abandoned the Xbox One. Even like last year, you could tell they were shifting their resources to the next generation. And we have the rumors of Perfect Dark, a new Fable, and all that stuff. And if we see them come to E3 with those type of megatons and they're showing a brand new Fable game and a brand new Perfect Dark, people are going to get excited for those. And we know Sony's going to bring some big stuff too.
What did you say, Nate? What?
What'd you say?
Yeah, dude, can you imagine a Fable on the Series X, no load times?
Oh, it'd be huge.
Yeah.
It will, like, I mean, even if Sony counters that with like a Horizon 2, those are two mammoth games.
That's a good question. Which do you think Horizon has more namesake than Fable?
It sold a lot of copies.
Yeah, currently,
Yes.
yeah.
Right now,
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Currently,
I was curious.
Fable got bodied, dude. It's
Yeah.
People don't think of it the way that they used to think of it. Now, if this was 2006 or 7,
Yeah.
then absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge Fable fan myself. I love the original Fable game, but I think they need to make that kind of like splash. Like this next Fable game, whatever they do, it needs to be something like breathtaking. You know, it needs to be something really good, like Breath of the Wild, or it needs to be like their big breakout game to come back. And there's so many good examples. Like there's no reason for Fable to suck. You know what I'm saying? There's so many good.
If they have Playground on it with some supporting studios, I assume it's going to be really good.
You've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey that you can look at. You've got Horizon. You've got Breath of the Wild. There are so many examples. If this next Fable game sucks, I'm marching to Microsoft, and I'm like, bro, come on, like, come on. You have so many examples. Stop.
Yeah, if it sucks purely on like Microsoft and Playground, but if they come out with that revolutionary new take on a genre and that IP, that can be really exciting to see. And I mean,
totally.
Might sell the Series X to a lot of people because I mean, Fable was a fantastic series until it got Molyneuxed, and it just never lived up to anything.
Dude, when that game came out, I had a hard time like believing that would run on the original Xbox. That was crazy when that.
I remember
Xbox
reading
ran
about that game in Next Generation magazine. He's like, the combat system's gonna be like Soul Calibur. You can cut the kid's face and come back years later, and he'll remember you did it. I didn't get any of that.
Man, let's. Oh, go ahead, MG.
I was going to say real quick, even though Sony had a misstep with the announcement, the presentation, whatever you want to call it, the reveal, the GDC conference, don't write them off because if they come back with this system at $399 plus Horizon 2 on launch, that is going to get a lot of people excited again about the system. So I think there's definitely more to come there. They've definitely had a struggle. Microsoft has controlled the narrative since the Game Awards till literally today. Microsoft has just been firing shots and they've been controlling this thing. But don't write Sony off because
for sure.
Easily come back.
Yeah, oh yeah, they have the games, they got the studios.
We're like,
That's what it comes down to.
Like, we just entered like the second half of a football game, and Microsoft took the lead going into halftime, and now we're going into that second half. And so, what the hell was that?
Am I not muted?
No, you idiot!
I'm muted on my thing. Sorry.
Good job, Sean.
Sean's that uncle that comes over and they're like, "Oh, okay."
This is
I was like, man, this dude's going to town on these Swedish fish over here.
Homer Simpson.
Every single crinkle in that bag, we heard, Sean.
You would shake it, and every time it was like,
You just belch.
I'm muted now.
I'll just move on.
Homer Simpson has joined the chat.
I can't breathe.
This is a very professional podcast.
this is why we have big name guests like.
Well, let me ask Sean real quick. Sean, are you ready? Which one would you buy right now, Series X or PS5?
Neither.
Okay.
Neither. Interesting.
Show me games. I mean, I'll buy them both because obviously I have to do videos on them and I like new technology, but show me as a general consumer right now, today, I would pick neither. I need to see games. I need to know what's coming out for these systems.
Hellblade 2 and Halo Infinite, none of that?
Hellblade 2 is not a day one release. We have no clue when that game is going to come out. Halo Infinite, what have we seen from Halo Infinite? Did it miss a big reveal for the game? Because I haven't seen jack shit from the game. And Fable is dead. Fable is a dead franchise. If you want to play Fable, play The Witcher. Play an Elder Scrolls game. Play Breath of the Wild. Nobody gives a fuck about Fable anymore.
That's not true.
Cry.
You're actually somewhat right. But you're not all the way. It's not true. You're not 100% right. I want to hear Click's opinion because she's just been laughing. I want to hear Click's opinion. Take it off this man, RGT. I don't like his tone.
I agree with them.
No, I want to hear your opinion on the the PS5 and all that.
Dude, we need games. The only thing is with PS5 is like we know games are coming. Like we don't have to see them. We know they're coming. And we've already said this before. Microsoft, like we're waiting to be surprised. That's how I am with the mindset. Like I would love to buy both. I can buy both, but a lot of people cannot. So like they can know that the fact that these games on PS4 are set up for sequels. They were enjoyable the first time through. Like they already know that it's coming. They don't necessarily have to see. A lot of people want proof, but they know that it's coming later on. Microsoft, again, I want them to succeed, but they're going to have to surprise us. They need all those name acquisitions to come into play and to bring us some games.
I agree. I mean, they brought the hardware, no question. Now it's the games. Let's see what you got.
Yes.
Well, hopefully some of those boosted PS4 games are actually good and it's not all cold.
Come on, if we see a new Perfect Dark, people are lining up.
Yeah, okay, that's
True.
If by the
We
initiative.
just talked about dead franchises. Wait a minute.
Based on what? Perfect Dark is as relevant in 2020 as Fable is. Like,
Wait a minute.
But
This man's out of his mind.
But Sean,
tell me about Perfect Dark Zero. Tell me how great Perfect Dark Zero was. Great looking game. Great looking game is a long.
We're not letting Rare touch this new Perfect Dark.
But Sean, it would be a first-person shooter on a system that generally sells first-person shooters pretty well, and it's Perfect Dark.
Would it be? I've heard rumors of the third-person perspective for the Perfect Dark coming to the Xbox.
Maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. It'll be interesting, I think, when all that goes down. Maybe May or
Microsoft had a AAA Knights game.
Sean's getting a day one. He's buying two.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Speaking of dead franchise,
Coming to the new the Sega consoles getting
the Sega Spartan, baby.
Next generation Sega consoles getting that AAA Knights game. Let's go, baby.
I'm into it. Let's do it.
Give me the Dreamcast 2.
Real quick,
Dreamcast.
we already talked because Nate played Exit the Gungeon. Right,
Yes.
Nate. We did have the indie presentation. I gotta say it wasn't bad, but there was no big time announcement. Because Sean, you did a video on it, and
nobody gave a fuck about the video. like I was like, oh wow, I thought this video would do better. I will say it was nice to see. Yeah, right. I mean, people wonder why I do those. Now, I did like seeing more Baldo though. I think Baldo is gonna be fucking dope as hell. That game looks so damn good.
What about the new Hello Games game? That looked pretty good.
Hello Games,
yeah, that looked cool.
Screw that guy. They copyrighted my video from that music from that trailer, bro.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like I hate that guy. I can't stand that guy, man. Like, no, but anyway, in terms of like the indie stuff, like the Blue Fire game actually looked pretty cool. Like that game was like the ninja game. That looked cool. And and
IndieWorld looks good too.
Yeah. And there was what was it? I thought like the whole Baldo game, it was cool that he was actually bald too. That's what I also liked about it. The guy who was talking about Baldo was also bald, so that was cool.
Okay.
And then
same.
Yeah, there was the Enter and there's the Enter the Gungeon. That was cool. Like Shadow Release just right there, like Shadow Drop. Yeah, that was cool. That was dope. But yeah, everything else was kind of like,
everybody makes fun of bald people, but you know they're about to shut all the. We're me shaving our own heads.
Dude, I like bald people. What are you guys? What you talking about, bro?
I'm a big fan of
football. Everybody's all the black guys were bald, dude. It's like you got to be nice with them.
Yeah, nothing to grab onto, right? No, I'm kind of bummed that the guy in Baldo isn't bald. What's up with that? That's fucked up. I thought we get
leveled up. You see.
It was I thought it was an alright presentation, but it wasn't. I don't think a lot of people are gonna remember it as much as like when they showed Cadence Hyrule and Cuphead and like.
I think I enjoyed it a lot more than most. I like that. I don't think I'd seen any of those before, really. And so to me, it was fun to have an indie direct that was just all 100% new information. It felt like I like directs that are just like, here's this cool thing. Here's this. Oh, look at it. Oh, how do you feel about Squid? Well, this person's hugging one. I like that.
Okay. Let's, Evan, do we have some Discord questions left before we get finished up with some of these messages here?
One to touch on. Do you think the Lockhart, because of the Xbox Series is going to be kind of like a family now, with the Series X being sort of part of that title, do you think the Lockhart might actually be kind of a final form of the Xbox One?
Final form of the Xbox One.
Like something.
I think it's gonna be a cube.
Yeah,
that makes sense. If it's gonna be the Xbox One final form, like the Xbox One S, I mean, maybe it's gonna be like a 4 teraflop SSD equipped system. I don't know, it's gonna be cheap, $300, I think. I don't know. I mean, sure, it could be its final form. I think it'll be cool looking because I think it's gonna be this little cube. I'm not really sure what they're asking for final form. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's more like because the Xbox One games are going to work across anyway. Would this just be like the Lockhart just be kind of a slightly updated Microsoft Xbox One? Like, would it just have an SSD in it and a little bit more function?
No. It'll be significantly better because it'll be on RDNA. It's gonna be basically the same architecture, I believe, as like the Series X. It'll just be cheaper because it won't have as many compute units, and maybe they'll cut down the SSD size. They'll do a lot probably to get it down because it's going to be a 1440p/1080p system. So
John, you're saying because the Series X is like 3 GameCubes stacked on top of each other, so it's going to be like 1 GameCube in size?
Yes, it's going to be like 1 GameCube. I saw that. I like that measurement, by the way, from John Linneman, because I was like,
that was pretty cool.
GameCubes. I got one right here. Let's measure it up. Like I just got GameCube sitting on my desk, so I stacked them, and now I know how big that Series X is. Yes, that was a good measurement.
What is it in Dragon Ball Z measurement?
Oh my god!
Like you didn't see that meme going around? Oh god!
Yeah, I want them to come out on stage and be like, "Here's the Xbox Lockhart, and here's a Dragon Ball for scale, so you get a rough idea."
They need to get rid of this teraflop number. Just go to power levels. Let's do that.
Just banana for scale.
Someone was passing around a meme on Twitter. They're like, the Xbox Series X is Super Vegeta and the PS5 is Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I was like, no.
This is the path I wanted.
I can't wait. That'd be dope because then like MVG would have like a scout or anything. They could do like a video where it breaks like the MVG scouter would break.
They've overclocked it. That's not even allowed.
You guys are take this next week's video.
Gotta grow a mustache.
We have another
perfect cell.
We have another Discord question, Evan.
Nah.
That's it. Okay. Easy enough. Let me go through some of these messages here before we finish up. Mirror Shield says, "How big will the PS5 reveal be now after everyone destroyed the GDC presentation?"
Big.
If they say their games,
it'll be big.
Yeah, because when they announce it, I assume they'll use a mascot of some kind on the front of it to be like, hey, check it out.
The logo reveal on Instagram was the most popular post from a video game company in Instagram history.
Yep. And it was someone changed in Paint.
Did you see that revolutionary work? It deserves it.
And let's not forget they had like over 600,000 people tune into that live stream on Tuesday.
There was a lot of people who tuned in for that. People were like, finally, PS5 stuff. And then they got HRTF charts or whatever, audio charts. They're like, what is this? We did get a screenshot of Dead Space though.
Yeah. What could that
mean? What was that about?
The most Dead Space has been talked about in years.
Right? You can't just say Dead Space in 2020 and
can't put that back in the box.
Oh, he said right coming out of the box.
That dude trolled us. Oh, I was so mad.
I think that the thing is, as soon as they come out on stage and start showing and talking about the PlayStation 5 in no uncertain terms and reveal some games, I think that the messaging and the hype will just congeal. Like, one thing is, there's been a long-running record of Sony reveals having Final Fantasy news in it, like either tech demos of the original Final Fantasy VII thing or times when they revealed Final Fantasy 13. I do strongly believe that there's a chance that they come out on stage and say, like, here's God of War, here's Spider-Man, here's Final Fantasy 16, and it just looks like fucking photorealism, just amazingness. So I think it'll all change as soon as they actually.
I think if Sony really made that deal with Konami, it's going to be a crazy day on the internet. So
dude, if they start out and it just starts playing the opening notes of the Silent Hill theme, I'm gonna rip my eyeballs
Nate, I don't think they bought the IPs. I don't think that happened. I'm saying, like,
no, at best they're licensing the IPs.
They licensed them.
They didn't buy every good IP from Konami.
Hey man, maybe Blue Point.
Licensing.
Maybe Blue Point isn't working on Demon Souls.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, there has been the rumor they were working on a new Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh.
Go on.
Man.
That was some talk going around.
Survive 2.
Did you hear something, Nate?
Survive 2.
Metal Gear Acid 3, baby.
Survive 2 is dead.
That would kill me.
Well, Blue Point put out that tweet that basically teased like 60 different games and franchises. Do you guys remember that?
Yep,
Yeah,
I
like, it was
do
like,
this every time.
it was like Legend of Dragoon, Symphony of the Night.
They're just reading like all the rumors. They're like, all right, get Gary. He's gonna type up this cryptic holiday card for them to watch.
Yeah, they're pulling a Retro Studios where Retro just like, hey, are you guys making a game this decade and this in a prime rib?
Yeah. And
and then the problem was like, you guys don't have a game, do you? Like you're actually just barbecuing.
they're like, can we make a cryptic tweet about us having to cancel our game or no?
We're
Okay,
actually Nintendo of America's cafeteria.
Yeah. Oh man. Rogue Merlin says Microsoft is about to adopt the cell phone model and sell the Series X for $299 or $399 with a year or two sub to Game Pass Ultimate. They're doing that with they have Xbox Access, All Access or something where you pay.
I think that's why it's going to be $499 because I mean $499 is an aggressive price considering the hardware they're selling, but I think xCloud's going to factor into that price.
Right. No, the cell phone thing is a good point because I think if for consoles, the same way people pay for cell phones now, where you're paying monthly and it doesn't sting as much because you're not dropping $500-$600. I know they've dabbled in that in the past. That's the way to go. Like if you really want to get people to pay $600 for a next gen console this November, don't make them pay $600 for it. Make them pay $50 every month or $40 every month, and put them on a contract for a couple years. That's the smart way to do it.
Nick says sold on the Switch long ago, watching the commercial where the guy takes his in the bathroom. How many of you actually used your Switch on the toilet?
Sean every day.
I won. The only game of Fortnite I ever won was on the Switch and when I was taking a shit. Legit.
You tweeted that out. So that's not even.
That's a victory royale for sure.
I was playing some game and it had a cutscene and I couldn't pause the cutscene and I couldn't skip the cutscene and I was legit about to just shit my pants. So I did undock it and I just took only the screen, not even the remotes. I just took the screen and watched the movie and was like, all right, we're good.
It has to be Animal Crossing at this point because you just don't want to stop playing it. So it's like, oh well, I gotta go anyway. Just take it with me. Why not?
Right.
Oh man,
I got stuff to get done. All right, I gotta pay Tom Nook back, and I gotta get the bells.
Right.
I'm glad that thing doesn't have a camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Or does it?
Oh no.
Oh, what?
As IR.
Go on.
You know something?
John has a camera. He modded one in there.
Yeah, right. Ryan says, "Good to see you, Brian. You still playing Pooplers?"
Oh yeah, we were joking about this game. A game called Pooplers launched like the same day as Animal Crossing on Switch, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" It's basically I think it's like Splatoon but with fecal matter.
Oh God.
Okay.
Okay, you sold me.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Pooplers.
Wow,
I think we need some direct feed footage.
They did send me a code for this game.
It's
Oh, are they babies?
I did not.
They're shitting babies. Yeah.
Yeah, but they shit colors.
They shit colors.
Is this a
Baby
multiplayer
green.
online game?
Sure.
I think
mean,
it
are
is
there
actually.
different-
Is
I
there a
don't know how to-
leaderboard multiplayer game? You have
I don't
4
know.
babies that shit all over the floor.
I don't know how to say this. Are there different weapons or is it just different babies? Like, are there attachments?
I've given you guys all the information I have on that.
And the funniest part is like when you start like shitting on the floor, it will actually say like poof. And there's one baby who actually shits brown.
Wait,
The
Sean,
other
are you
ones like
downloading
red,
this right
green,
now? Is that why you
blue.
just walked away?
Oh.
Man.
I'm looking it up.
No, he didn't have my
no.
attention until he said Splatoon.
Is that
Everybody's grabbing their Switches.
I'll say, Sean, are you looking it up right now?
The baby's dancing stuff though, and then like
It's
a
rated
ghost
M?
chases them.
Yeah, what
shitting
made you think it
babies.
wouldn't be rated M?
I mean,
It's
yeah,
Splatoon
Yo,
with shit, of course.
that is the most terrifying baby I've ever
and when
seen
the
in my
match
life.
starts, it says poop.
With red. Wow.
And then you
Okay.
can drop bombs and stuff.
I guess they weren't allowed to say splat.
Here's a good one here from Adrian saying, "Can everyone give their island name and starting fruit? Also, if the SpawnCast had an island, what would it be called?"
I got Peaches, and my island is Keep Dreamin', but I couldn't put the whole thing, so I had to put Keep Dream and then just an N.
I have
Edgy.
I have Pears, and I named it Spawn Point because someone on Twitter helped me out with that.
Oh,
Mine, I got Peaches, and I named mine Koholint after Link's Awakening because that's like one of my favorite Zelda games ever made.
Oh, very nice, very nice. What about Miss Click?
I got Butts, Peaches, and I named mine Eventide because that's the best island.
That's a really good island.
Where you die? No, I'm kidding.
Jordan, what'd you name yours? Hit us with.
Named it Shadowless. It's like Pokemon, Pokemon cards. And then I have cherries as my native fruit.
Cool.
Let's trade.
What about OJ?
Yeah, I got Peaches, and I just named it after what I have in my YouTube, Elite Ninja Village. So, but I have to abbreviate it. Elite
a lot of peaches.
NB. Elite NB. So.
Okay. What about Evan?
Cinderwick, and I got Peaches.
Cinderwick?
Cinderwick, yeah.
That's pretty good.
There's a lot of fire. I'm building fires all over this place. I'm kind of treating it like an industrial wasteland.
You probably have the most.
I've already cleared all the trees. It's going to be great.
What?
I don't know what.
Ferngully?
I don't know what the SpawnCast would name their island. I don't know.
You cleared all your trees?
On the main,
Castaway.
the first little section that you can get to.
It's the
Spawn
Castaway Isle.
Spawn Castle.
I'm gonna pave it all over.
Spawn
It's gonna be
Castle.
great.
That's cute.
I like truck on.
Ice says, would you pay over $500 for backwards compatible PS5? They have two versions, one with or without backwards compatible. I would actually.
Same.
If it was
if I would.
like if it was really backwards compatible, like if it was like we're talking PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. Yeah, I'll spend the extra $100 for it. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I would. I think that would be a little weird to me.
You'd rather plug in all your other stuff?
I'd just use a PC and just bust out the emulators at that point.
Whoa.
Wow.
Like $4.99 is like the cutoff for me. It's got to have all or nothing,
Okay.
Do you think your PC will work in prison?
Good point.
Fucking with you.
At least your Switch will.
It was the tone that got me. It was just like a junior, like, I hope I have internet access in my fucking cell.
Jake says, I love eating pepperonis with one side fully cooked and the other side rawer than me in first grade.
What the heck?
What the fuck?
That is a
Welcome to the SpawnCast Super Chat Hour. That's the type of things we get.
That's a sentence I feel you shouldn't have repeated.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm trying. Now that read it. Nicholas says, now that we have the wonderful MVG on the cast, what are the chances we can get Stop Skeletons from Fighting's Derek on sometime? I'm sure we can. I will talk to Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Juice Man Vaughn says Brian Altano looks like MVG's little brother. See?
I told you. Man.
Yeah, we get that.
I get that a lot.
There you go. And then we have
I didn't know the gambler fucking died.
oh man. Next arcade one up you would like to see released.
Hold him.
WrestleFest.
Okay.
Donkey Kong.
This is a good one, yeah. Absolutely.
Well,
I'm
hold on.
gonna say the Simpsons game. The Simpsons.
Yeah, I was gonna
Wait,
go
what
with
was the
that.
question again?
Yeah.
What's the next arcade one up you'd like to see released?
Oh.
Like the
Have
arcade.
they done X-Men yet? Like
Yeah,
with the
I'll say
four
X-Men,
top?
yes.
Did they?
Yeah.
No, I thought was
Yeah.
X-Men the 4, or did they just do it?
No, it was Turtles.
It was
Yeah,
Turtles.
Turtles
did
was
Turtles.
4. It'd be cool if
Yeah.
they did like an extended one where they had like the extra wide screen for that.
The
for
X-Men
4.
one
That
would be
would be
really
awesome.
cool. That would be cool. It'd probably cost some money, but
Which Metal Slug was in arcades? Metal Slug X?
in the U.S. Just,
All of them were.
yeah.
Yeah.
All of them were?
I think all of them were, yeah.
And they need to
Or a lot
throw
of them.
like,
Just
the
do a unified Metal Slug.
anthology on it.
I've asked for that before. Like, let's get Metal Slug 1, 2, 3, 4, and X on one system. That'd be pretty dope.
John, we got to get a Windjammers one.
That'd be
Windjammers would be cool too.
It's got to be Neo Geo.
Mighty Ryan says I give this podcast 5 out of 5 Brian Altanos.
Thank you. There's only one of me, but
That's a lot of Brian's.
two actually.
Fish fan says RGT deli meat and cheese of the week and dried fruit.
No dried fruit. We had and honey ham. American cheese.
Where'd you go?
Is that Kenny Loggins?
Huh?
Where are you?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers? I don't know.
He's at the Roasters. That's one of the most popular failed restaurants in America.
Kenny Rogers Roasters from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, dude, my dad used to work for Kenny Rogers Roaster.
Really?
Yeah, I remember their cornbread was shitty because it had actual corn in it, and I fucking hated that.
Surgical says, I want someone to look at me the way Spawn is looking at OJ. Shout out from Fresno. Oh yeah, because on the Discord it's like I think I'm next to you.
You are, yeah.
Yo,
On mine, I'm like in the bottom right.
First
Right.
of all, big shout outs to Fresno. That's my alma mater, Fresno State. So big shout outs to Fresno.
Nice.
Fresno State.
Jake says, does anyone find that the Switch Joy-Cons make an excellent... Oh. We'll move on from that one, Jake.
Yeah.
Is that like
Thanks
the
for your
Destructoid article?
donation.
Wait, what was he doing? Where was he putting him?
It was the Destructoid article.
It was a Destructoid article.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
We all know what that
Okay.
means.
Some super chats aren't as super as others.
Hector says Sony bragged about the PS5 announcement and it failed, so accept it. Microsoft has did it better. Talked about that. Sony is confused about marketing.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's exactly
right.
arguing.
Well, right now Microsoft probably has the better marketing, yes, for the Series X. So.
Right.
Swag says entered the PS5 event with high expectations, left with an engineering degree.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're all programmers now. I saw one of those 18 graphs.
We can describe 3D audio.
PS5 backwards compatibility is disappointing with a question mark. I think people are disappointed now, but I will say, I'm telling you, MG, there were some spaces. There was that space.
Stop it,
PS4, man.
No, dude, it's not happening. I saw your Twitter thing where you were like, "What is that space underneath there for?" It's like, it was like they took this slide, they copied and pasted it over to this slide, and they forgot to like change things around. There's nothing really there that was of any substance, in my opinion.
Or is there?
Don't do that.
I doubt it.
Hey, as long as Bloodborne fits into the top 100 that they're talking about,
No doubt.
My man.
Bloodborne will be in there. Bloodborne will be in there for
needs
sure.
that PS5. Can you imagine the PS5 running that game cool 60 at 4K?
Or
Could you imagine the
rather have
PS4 doing that?
Bloodborne Deluxe releasing natively on the PS5?
Yo, what if Bloodborne, because of how you know you got to be reactionary in it with it and everything? What if they hit that at like 120 frames?
Oh my God.
Did you imagine?
My heart. That's. I think that's my favorite game of all. I honestly, after this year, I think it hit the top for me.
That would have to be, because that's not on PC. That would have to be the PS5 like port really pushing it.
That was another thing they'd never really discussed. You know, Microsoft was very clear on, 4K 60 is the target and 120 hertz as well. But Sony didn't mention anything about the target resolution and frame rate at all.
They're too concerned with your ear.
They're beautiful, bro.
I think
Send
that
me
maybe
pictures of your ear.
Where did you go, Sean? Come
that
back.
might be
Show me your feet.
Yeah, go to my only ears.
that might be one of the big reveals, MVG, where they all of a sudden, here's Gran Turismo running at 120 frames.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's a lot of frames.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 2, you mean?
Yeah, Gran Turismo 2. They'll just get the PS1 game. PS1 backwards compatibility. There we go.
There it is.
Juice Man Vaughn says, I was totally weirded out when Cerny said we'd be sending in our ear and head size for the HTRF thing. Yeah, it was a little strange. I think it's just the way he said it, very calmly, and like he didn't really blink for a while when he was saying that. So it was like, all right.
But they pre-recorded this, right? They pre-recorded this. So why wasn't it like, let's just kind of edit that piece out, because that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Mark, you cannot ask people to send their ears in.
There was editing. That was weird. There were already other jump cuts, so it's like maybe you should have cut out the earpiece.
I think what they did is they filmed it live. They did no editing. They just had multiple cameras in transition, and then just uploaded that as a premiere.
What's weird is they definitely spent some time on it because they put in a green screen crowd in front of them. So like they obviously cared about the way it looked.
That
and, like,
was
it was
strange,
presented.
man.
Like there was obviously some care put in there, so it was hyped up and it was presented in a strange
When was this
way.
recorded? Like 2009 in a Vio laptop?
See, I'm telling you, that was the big thing. It was like Vio. I had to look it up, and it still exists. You can get a $2,000 Vio right now.
Why would you ever?
That's a shame.
That's a shame. Oh man, just a few left here. Hector says games only matter if you accept the disadvantage. I will not accept the low end graphic of the Switch, so I don't care about gameplay if my eye hurts.
What?
Okay.
Damn, man.
Every time
That's a hill to die on.
Yeah, right. Every time Tom Nook asks me for money, it's like I'm grinding butter into my eye sockets. I can't stand it.
What?
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, so I guess you'll just never play Pooplers.
Oh
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, there's
Look
quality
over
games
here.
on the Nintendo Switch.
Hey,
There's
when
no
that-
online
and
play. It's just local. I don't have any friends.
Hey, when
Well, night time to make some.
see when Game of the Year voting comes around, they'll be unprepared.
Oh my god!
There we go.
If you make okay, go on Tinder and just find a girl and be like, bro,
No.
like I have the shittiest time in mind for you, baby. The first person you get to come over, film it. That's a viral video.
Right.
Okay, don't film it.
I'm just gonna tell you something. As somebody who's very experienced on Tinder, you will not get anyone talking like that.
I don't know. I've never been on.
I don't know, man. I could never mind.
Not talking like that. I know Tinder.
What
Riku-
the hell did this just descend to?
I used to know Tinder.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Just a no Tinder?
young
Hung out on the
OJ says
weekends.
Where, OJ?
your favorite. Oh, okay. Young OJ says your favorite bae to play games with. For me, my wife.
Aw.
Well, if it's your wife, that's probably your only bae to play games with.
That's
Right.
right. Yes,
My-
that would be
my
the story I would
side
stick
bae.
with.
Yeah.
Me too. Wife. When I see her, I
Yep.
saw her. Yep. Wife as well. She plays Mario Kart. She's very bad at it, so it was fun.
Oh, is she watching?
No, she's asleep.
Oh.
Thankfully.
Maybe.
That phone
I love
will
her.
start
Go to
vibrating
bed.
like
I don't
crazy. Tesla Volta Game says, "What's a fable?" You know, I just realized something. There's gonna be a lot of younger kids
That have no idea what Fable is.
have no idea what Fable
Best
is.
series ever. I have
To be
Oh, he had the whole
introduced to it.
series ready. He had the whole series ready to go.
Not even,
Including-
no, it's not even
including
younger
Lost-
kids.
Lost Chapters. You gotta get
Oh,
Lost Chapters
shit.
and the original.
Now we're gaming.
Fable is also a
Jordan,
great
F them
song
kids.
by Robert
F them
Miles.
kids. Fable's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, Juice Man Vaughn says kids these days have no clue what Perfect Dark is.
True.
They can be introduced to its greatness.
Yeah,
Is there going to be anybody on the planet left who knows what Beyond Good and Evil is when the sequel comes out eventually?
Haha. No.
Is it still NX exclusive?
Oh gosh. Okay. Tesla Volta Game says, Lockhart, you haven't even seen my final form narrator. Will the Sony fighter stop it to next week on Dragon Ball Z? I do hope power level is a new metric we create for
That'd be
these.
so good.
Amazing. Mega Nerd says, did you all see the new Guilty Gear Strive trailer that came out at 9 p.m. Eastern? Mila and Zato
Yes.
looked awesome, and as usual, phenomenal music. I did not see it because it came out at 9 p.m. Eastern.
It
I
looks
didn't
so
see it.
good.
And there's going to be a beta for it. I think they emailed me there's going to be a beta, so I might
Yep.
play the beta. I actually like the Guilty games. Garbage at them.
Oh, Guilty Gear is such a great fighting game, and nobody seems to pay any attention to them.
Then Ethan R says, remember the guy who said OJ and John look alike?
Oh,
I like them.
It was a while ago.
Exactly the same.
Leo John asked, do you consider time travel cheating in Animal Crossing New Horizons?
Yes.
No, I don't.
That was a quick-
People can play however they want to play. I don't think we should gatekeep it on that.
No,
Like, play however
I
you want to play.
consider it cheating, but I'm also doing it. So fuck the police.
Well, there's that.
Is it like using save states and rewind in a game? Is it the same kind of thing?
You did not actually beat the game.
Hey, I saw those credits.
I made it to the end.
Oh man. Hey, you know what? It's I mean they're forming the Animal Crossing Esports League, right? So it's gonna be cheating. That's happening. So
Right?
Yep.
I mean, there's people that get houses for free from their rich parents in real life. Nobody calls that cheating, you know. I have a small apartment. I will cheat in Animal Crossing and get a big ass house. Don't care.
Zaire,
All the cops.
Zaire Miller says, "What game got you to play a different genre than you wouldn't think you liked?" Mine was Danganronpa. Now playing different visual novels like Zero Escape and Your Turn to Die.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I don't know. I really kind of got more into racing games. I was trying to cover some racing games, and when Forza really started coming out on Xbox One, it really opened my eyes to the soothingness of racing games, which I never thought existed. So the Forza series really kind of like made me realize that there's an art to the track that I really fell in love with.
Okay.
I played a game called Lost in Blue on DS, like way back.
I love
in the
that
day,
fucking game.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And it got me like really into survival game time. There's about 2 kids that show up on an island and like they get shipwrecked and they have to basically build everything from scratch and
you're lost.
Yeah, okay. In blue.
Yes.
Is that a follow-up to Survival Kids?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow,
I don't think it's the same children though, because that would be horrible luck.
Yeah, right. Double shipwrecked. I choose suicide this time.
We have Azzy says, "John, you and your friends are beautiful. Thanks to you and MVG for being the best techies on YouTube. Hope the PS5 doesn't suck." Okay. Any emulator suggestions for PS3 at group? I mean, there's RPS. I always mess it up.
I don't know if he's asking for the PS3 or to emulate the PS3. If it's on the PS3, I would get RetroArch because I mean that runs awesome on pretty much everything. But yeah, otherwise get up PS3, whatever it's called for PlayStation 3.
Yeah, they got Metal Gear Solid 4 at 4K now on that.
That's legit. That is legit.
Yeah. Matthew Hammond says Brian Altano is the main reason to watch NVC.
Thank you. No disrespect to my co-host, but I agree.
Barber says now you can clone items in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I saw that people were just had like 80 Switch systems in on the thumbnail. I think that was game
ridiculous.
Whoa, I have something to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
In
jail.
Exactly.
We're never getting that Animal Crossing esports league.
I hope that extra 10K bills was worth it, kid.
they
gone away for a long time.
Oh, they already do the send them a picture of the ear thing with the Sony headset on their app, and it's pretty weird. Mark Cerny's been ahead of the game this whole time. He's been like using the headset. I already got your ear. It's like, wait a minute. Okay. Then we have Isaac Sullivan says, I still think you guys do look alike. I guess that's for me and OJ. Okay.
I 1%.
How can you not?
Why is that a thing, bro?
Anyone else? Shadow of Nexus says, anyone else feel that Zombie U should get a sequel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Zombie U2.
Zombie 2?
Zombie
Oh my
U.
god, and the soundtrack's done by U2. Oh god.
Oh god.
Hello, zombies!
Adrian Cardoza. I think this is the last one here, and I think there was just one on Streamlabs left. Asking Brian Altano, what's your favorite Spawn Wave video? Let me pull up this.
This one.
There we go.
Great answer.
Good answer.
I like that answer. That's a good one. This one. Let me pull up the Streamlabs thing. And then we can OJ and John look like the Dudley Boys.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
I mean, he got that from my because I said that John. Here's the backstory between the backstory. I was on stream and I was like, "Yo, when me and John were both fat, we could be like the cosplay as the Dudley Boys." Could have been like John would be like, "Get the tables."
Yeah, but that involved running at the time, and that wasn't our forte then.
Hey man, I was a mobile fat man. You know what I'm saying? I can move for somebody as big as I was.
Were you guys fat? I used to be fatter too. I miss that shit a little bit. You know.
I don't being out of breath.
No, that's horrible.
Getting declined on
like,
Tinder all day. That was suck. What you talking about?
I mean, like the recklessly being able to eat whatever you whenever. That's what.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't miss any of the side effects.
Oh yeah. Side effects. Dreading the pull-up bar. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's the side effect, right?
No, I don't miss getting tired on stairs.
Oh well, okay, yeah.
It's gotten better.
It's become better than it used to be. You can see it too. You can see the videos of me and OJ from
Yeah.
When was that? That was. I mean, it was a while ago now. It was
2018, like when I first started being like regular on SpawnCast. I was like, I was in the middle of like losing my weight. But no, it wasn't like super long ago. But yeah, it was. I was pretty fat.
No, same for me in like 2016. But it was like for some odd reason, all the food, whatever I ate, right here, just nowhere else. Just so if when you do videos, it's just like look at that. Fuck yeah. I don't know why. It's just like fat in the face. The rest of my body is exactly the same.
And then asking the panel, this from Prince Duval, asked the panel again, if you had enough money to buy one next gen, based on what we know at this point, what would it be if you had to pick one? I would pick the Series. I'd pick the Series X right now, just because of what we know. And that's Halo. Just because that's Halo. That's Halo.
Right. Yeah, PlayStation for me, because we're gonna get another Spider-Man. We're gonna get another Horizon, maybe more stuff from Naughty Dog, all that fun stuff.
Sure.
But I don't think you can go wrong with either.
That's a lot of crunch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, Sean, you got to pick one. Which one are you picking?
Why do I have to?
Oh my gosh. they give you a coupon. You fill in PS5 or Xbox Series X. What are you writing down?
When does the coupon expire? I feel like I'd have a little more time.
It expires day 2.
I guess I would pick the Xbox Series X because I feel like that'll be more expensive.
You're just gonna resell it.
Oh, because you're talking about the coupon. Yeah.
Because I want to get both of them. So if I have to spend less money, that seems smarter.
Oh, actually, that's a good call.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, Isaac Sullivan says John and OJ used to be thick. Now they're thick. They're 2 C's. There you go. Adam says kudos to OJ for convincing me to get Animal Crossing New Horizons when I picked up Doom Eternal for my first Animal Crossing game. I'm enjoying it immensely. What did you all name your island? We already did that. And I named mine Ishimura due to the fact that I'm a huge Dead Space fan.
Nice.
Okay. I think that is everything there. All right. I think we're good. Let's go around here. Brian, thank you for joining us tonight. Is there anything you want to let the people know? Anything?
No, we should do this in return. You should pop on some of the shows I do over at IGN. You can catch me every week on Nintendo Voice Chat on IGN. Also, Podcast Beyond, long-running PlayStation show. I do a bunch of video work for them. I also do some stuff on the side called The Comedy Button, which is a comedy show I've been working on for years. So yeah, check that stuff out. I also got albums, instrumental stuff. Just look up my name on Spotify and you can find it. Thank you so much for having me, man. This was a blast.
So yeah, you let me know whenever you need me. I'll pop up on the podcast.
For sure.
I'm around.
Yay, Poggies.
About MVG.
Thanks for having me on the show. You can find me on Twitter at ModernVintageG and YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. And as always, I have a brand new video coming out on Monday, so stick around for that. Thank you.
Then what about Sean?
You can find me on RGT85. I apologize about the burp. I honestly thought I was muted.
It's actually 2.
2, yeah. I'm not reviewing Animal Crossing or anything like that. I do have a good feeling there's going to be a direct this week, so be on the lookout for shit like that. I'm close to 280,000 subs. Sub me, please, and get me there, and that's it.
Okay. What about Miss Click?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys can find me here on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming. I am literally live every day and night at this point on twitch.tv/missclick_live. We're going to be playing a lot of Animal Crossing. We still also need to finish my first playthrough of Nier Automata, so we have the last third of that to go through, but Animal Crossing's taking the steering wheel right now, so come hang out. Other than that, missclickgaming.com, you can find everything there.
Okay, what about Jordan?
You can find me on Twitch. I'm streaming every single day, Animal Crossing, sometimes twice a day, days and night. Just playing through day by day, no time traveling in my playthrough. So we're just going to take and see what happens. Even if it takes forever to build something and it's tempting to, we won't time travel.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's a drug. It's hard to stop once you start.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, what about Max?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. I'm kind of working on 2 big things at once right now, and I'm really excited for both. I am working on my own Animal Crossing review. I'm gonna try and drop it Monday, and I think I'm gonna call the video something like "I Can't Beat Animal Crossing," and kind of just talk about how this game is so big and so massive it doesn't really have a conventional end. So that's gonna be fun. And I have been playing Phantasy Star Online because that beta is going on PSO2. So that should be fun. I'll be talking about that.
Okay. And then Evan.
You can just find me on Twitter at Kimmerix Project. Information's below. I'm going to be stuck here pretty much all next week. So I got some commissions to work on, so I'll be streaming some artwork next week.
Okay.
Yay, artwork.
Then we got OJ.
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I'll be streaming a lot of Animal Crossing because it's interesting and it's fun. Still giving away Switch Lite, so yeah, y'all subscribe, watch that. And I got a lot of cool videos coming up with other stuff like Trials of Mana. I got a comparison that I'm doing with the versions of the game. And there's also some other cool stuff that I'm doing as well. So subscribe to the channel, check it out. Thanks for watching.
Okay. All right, cool. I think that's everything for tonight. Did I miss a super chat? People were saying I missed a super chat.
Did you get Nate?
No.
To the kid.
Find me on direct.
All right, go ahead, Nate. Where can they find you?
Forgotten.
1080p, 60 frames per second footage.
I am Sean. I belch into the microphone routinely. Luckily, I had my mic muted when I farted, but you know, it's good.
Well, it negates that if you admit to it.
Oh god.
Yes, find me at Direct Feed Games on Twitter. I will have undocked Saints Row 4 footage up on the channel next week, along with a comparison of Switch versus Xbox One, I think, or PS4, one or the other. Then I have the Nate the Hate channel, which is now on Spotify, so you can listen to us while you shower or cook dinner.
Specific.
Or both.
And we'll have a video next week talking about some of the PS5 and Xbox Series specs, which with a special guest, which I will keep a mystery for now.
Ooh.
It's Derek.
Mark Cerny.
Damn it, you ruined it.
That would be lit, man.
People they'll never wake up again if they listen to that.
Yeah, I know. I want you and Mark Cerny to play Animal Crossing together.
We don't want to put the whole universe to sleep.
That's
I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do. We're all quarantined at home.
Right.
True, everyone will be well rested.
You're in Florida. People are still out there in the beaches doing all sorts of
Yo, hold up. That's all tourists. That's all y'all coming down here to give.
That's not me. That's not California.
Those are tourists. Those are all. Get your.
Don't you blame the other states for your state having the issues. You're dragging us all
Get your
down.
state. Get your.
Marvin,
tourists, get out.
I'm gonna get Bugs Bunny to cut off Florida. Remember that. I'm gonna get Bugs Bunny to cut Florida off for real this time.
My God, yeah, have fun. That way we can be our own island. You know what?
Good,
Animal
good
Crossing
riddance.
Island. I should have named my Animal Crossing Island Florida.
Marvin says Brian, your boy with the blat, and then Isaac says thank you for the great stream. I was trying to look through to see what I missed.
Hit your boy with brat.
Guess with the brat.
Oh, you want to hear about?
Oh.
Wow.
Iconic.
Okay.
He did the thing.
The catchphrase. Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Maybe.